Someone in the car was saying it's the worst weather for, like the government to torture people for the truth.
Right.
Especially guys. Because now, -7-degree weather, your testicles are inside your body. Assuming you end up in a place where you're seated between two plainclothes criminals and they drive you to Tigoni.
They are sourcing for the truth.
You guys are coming back asking like, unakula nini sapa?
Hanifa is NHIF right now.
Yep.
She's a one-woman NHIF. Is she figuring out like what are real claims, who needs attention, which hospitals, claims from hospitals, working with other people? True. Like, I saw her making a tweet today about like how guys at Mshwari, is it Mshwari? Mchanga have been so helpful in helping like combing out through the thing. They didn't owe that work, but because people asked, hey, support, they've been combing through the thing with her, right? That's not a thing we ever knew could happen. True. Honestly, me, I didn't even know that. That's what NHIF is meant
supposed to do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
The person is there being like, bro, I now have keys to the granary.
Let me do what I gotta do.
I gotta do what I gotta do in the time I gotta do it. And I have to make sure I eat enough.
And sweep the whole thing.
And get some for next time so I can be able to run for next time. And even when I'm out of this thing, I'm set up for life. Right? Mm-hmm. So now you're telling that person accountability and they're like, bro, I really understand what you're saying, but me, I'm a thief. My job is stealing.
Why should I work for it when I can take it?
This is confusing. I'm confused. What are you asking of me? I came here to steal. Okay? You need a representative. In fact, I agree with you. You definitely need a representative. Right? The thing that's also happening is as this old system is falling, and I want to assure all of us, the system is falling as the new system is being born. The things are happening together. At a very spiritual level, you have to make a decision where to place your attention. The way I can think about this is like when you start working out, right? The first day when you start working out, that 20 minutes that you do, you've already done so much more for your body than you had ever done. If you'd never worked out, for example, it's your first time. If you keep that up, by the end of the week, your body's changing. But when you look at yourself in the mirror, you see...
the same exact.
You still see the same exact thing, but actually your body is changing, right?
Over 26.
This is the
brunch club. Over 26.
Welcome back to
the mics are closed.
Now, when you watch it, you'll understand.
What up? My name is Chaxy, the mastermind, your main guy, the Lord Chaxy. The brew from Mariah is around, the amazing Mwass is around, the whole gang is around. Episode 181. We are
Mic check.
And she is back. MUTHONI the drummer queen. So the first time we came on the pod, we were on episode 56. That's the episode we put out, and now we're 181.
Can you imagine?
181. How many episodes is that later?
That's a lot of episodes later, bro.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the growth of the pod.
Thank you.
Hey, excuse me, my events, my merchandise. Mic check pod. To the growth.
And thank you for bringing a drink.
Growth.
Yes.
Always. Even the last time you brought a drink still.
I was raised well.
Clearly.
Very nice. Congratulations for real.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Very inspiring.
Asante sana. Sasa, before we get into it, acha tukuchekeshe kidogo.
Tafadhali.
So last evening, I'm gonna play a bunch of stuff, but last evening we were leaving BN's private listening thing for his deluxe, which is a beautiful project. So Mwass, two things: Trump's ears and mambo ya limuru na baridi. So you take it away. Take it away.
Oh my God! So I go online, and of course our president has disappointed us. Yet again. But this time, it's usually just different facets of disappointment. If he's, so I see a tweet. He's written a whole statement telling Donald Trump, Pole.
Bas, baba.
Yeah, bas, baba, bas, baba. And then he said, on behalf of every Kenyan. We were like, every Kenyan? And it's a tweet that I'm sure Trump won't read. So I just asked Chaxy, And Mariah, one simple question. For someone who doesn't care about listening, why is he worried about someone else's ear? Honestly. So now,
Right?
now it's like, I'm wishing
my
you good health.
We had the laugh of our lives yesterday.
Why is he worried about someone else's ear?
Someone who hasn't listened. Like, what is wrong with you?
That's like an appendix. Which one is the body part that you can do without? The
Appendix.
Yeah.
Appendix, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Limuru.
Because it's loading, but
No, we can't say that.
No, you can.
Can we?
Mas, it's mic check, man.
Okay, so someone in the
Why
car.
are you pretending like you're new?
Someone in the car was saying it's the worst weather for, like the government to torture people for the truth.
Right.
Especially guys. Because now, -7-degree weather, your testicles are inside your body. Assuming you end up in a place where you're seated between two plainclothes criminals and they drive you to Tigoni.
they are sourcing for the truth.
You guys are coming back asking like unakula nini sapa. Those are some of the thoughts that were going around in the car.
It's such a politically incorrect
Yeah. Like I'm going into your boxers and I will find the truth.
Find
Like,
And you're like, you won't find it. It's non-existent right now.
it's hidden.
It's inside me.
Yeah. Where are we headed? Is it
Welcome to
BNP?
BNP.
Yo,
Yeah. Good night.
Dead.
that was 14 minutes of absolute
Mwass was
madness.
on a roll.
Oh my God.
I'm here for it.
So the last one, we were supposed to play it during the hangout, and for some reason it didn't play. But this is Pastor Nganga. Pastor Nganga is in church and is so annoyed because he just came from seeing his doctor. So this is Pastor Nganga. I'll just play the clip.
I had that clip.
You know it?
I did hear it. Back I lost dream name.
Please.
Let me play it.
Can't you play this
Let
clip?
me play it.
Oh, it refused to play at the hangout.
Yeah.
Madaktari aliniambia ati nisiwe nakula nyama.
Oh, let me start it.
Yeah.
Madaktari aliniambia ati nisiwe nakula nyama. Nikasema na roho yangu wewe ni mjinga kama mama yako. Mimi nimelelewa nyumba hakuna nyama. Ati nisikule nyama na nisikunywe sukari. Sasa hiyo ni kusema nini? Mimi kwetu sijaona sukari, alafu uniambie nisikunywe sukari. Kwani yuko biguni naenda kupata sukari nyingine? Nitakunywa sukari na nitakula nyama. Hata sasa hivi nimetoka kukula nyama, siletee ujinga yako. Siendi kwa mama yako. Utaniambiaje nisikule nyama ati sijui nisikunywe sukari? Sijui ati niwe ninalala mapema. Sasa nalala mapema hawa watoto niwaachie nani? Sagile madaktari ni kama hamuna kazi. Kama kitu kingine ni nyama tu na
Look, at the time you were saying it, madaktari hawako na kazi.
I know, for real.
You know what I would love to see? You see like how this reaction videos like in Esther Kazungu and Mushiri Mike and then dressed in like a white, like kama daktari, and then he's just listening to Pastor Nganga and just reacting. Wewe ni mjinga kama mama yako.
Surely, Nganga.
And you know, right now I saw this morning he's beefing with
Munishi?
Is that true?
Yeah. And he's calling himself Chief Commander.
It's madness.
This guy is a reminder to me. And like when I see Pastor Nganga, I'm like, the system has failed him. That guy was meant to just be an actor in entertainment. No.
He had to source another way.
Now he had to find another way. Now he has an audience, a captive audience. They're there on Sunday. So now he's like, because nowadays he's also like a rock star.
He's a rock. Hey,
He's good at the
He's
guitar.
being a rockstar.
With this guitar.
Anafanya ile mguu yake moja nyuma akipiga.
Kila mtu kitamba.
And then he knows how to play the single nini.
Question. Would you book him for blankets? Afanye tu a praise and worship.
Why?
No thanks, no please.
What?
For the vibe.
No.
Akuja na kwaya yake
Basi
full.
akuje onja stage.
Stop electronic music. No.
That deletes.
No, but
Me, I would be there. We shall be seen.
Then you sing Kelly.
if there was ever a chance just for banter, and Nganga agrees to come with the choir, I swear, wasa watatana. Mimi I'll be there, front line. Na kitamba hivi.
Piga ua.
And then in the middle of the singing, anaanza kuwatukana, then anaanza like he didn't do anything.
It's all one.
It's all one.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, if you ever think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please consider it highly. How much we will occupy
you know what I mean?
blankets.
Occupy blankets.
Tutasalimia Muthoni.
And also have him rate people's outfits.
Oh my God.
Sasa huyu amevaa handkerchief kwa kifua.
Okay, curatorial committee, mumesikia? Watu mtasalimiwa.
Anyway, how have you been since the last time you were here?
Honestly, I've been really good. Okay, if you take Kenya and just put it aside, you know what I mean? Just minimize that tab.
Yeah.
All other tabs, we are doing quite well. I'm happy. I'm thriving. Motherhood is so delicious. We are growing and expanding as a business.
Nice.
You know, like getting more people who are so competent. Hey, guys, we are building an institution. Those things that I didn't even know that was a thing that can happen is actually happening. Exactly. We took over running the blankets in Kampala. We are streamlining that.
Nice.
I've been making music touring.
Nice.
That's really, sweet life.
That's thriving.
Thriving,
I love the definition of
enjoying
thriving,
and also, dreaming bigger dreams, seeing life differently. Yeah. So I think all of that is dope. Ni ukiingiza tu and minimize Kenya, you're like, God damn.
Yeah.
Kwani niko nchi ingine.
Huku wapi. But even you guys have been thriving.
Yep.
It's so incredible to watch the growth and growth and growth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mzidi manze.
Asante sana.
Mzidi.
Yeah. So as we're figuring out where to start, I feel like I want to play the voice note you sent me.
Bro.
And then, nikimaliza, you pick where you want to start. Because it sort of gives a good overview and sort of paints a good direction. Can I?
You can do it. I'm like,
so this...
As long as it's not one picture.
Because I'd reached out maybe 2 weeks ago for us to really come and discuss what's going on, but we're in Kampala for blankets.
Indeed.
Yes. So this is what Muthoni sent me.
Gosh, Chaxy, I even have points. I even wrote points like the way to think around this moment, our next immediate steps kind of. So first there's kind of that like intellectual framework for what the moment we are in and the machine and evidence from other places, evidence from our own history and evidence from other places about like kind of strategies to deal with dictators like this. Then you have that as a thought, a framework. Then like frameworks of organizing that have worked, a decentralized organizing system. And then kind of how the space for everybody, where does everybody fit into this thing? Where does everybody's energy go? How do we organize? What is that collective that then, so that everybody can find their space in this clamor for change. Then there's and who should we be looking to leading? You know, because I'm also just like, there are people who've been doing this work. Like some people are entirely new to this thing, right? Like fighting and resisting. And I want to say Gen Z at large in a very in a sweeping statement kind of way. But there's people who've been organizing forever. You know, the social justice entities like Akina Madari Social Justice Center, all these justice centers that are community-based, they've been organizing defenders of human rights. Like, so what are those lessons that we can learn? Feminists, people on the queer spectrum, people who live in opposition to system, and people who have had to find ways to survive. The need for us to like listen to those voices and include those voices, you know, the infiltration of our thinking by incels and being led by, you know, going to spaces that are being led by people that we know are not for us. They're not pro-society because they cause those divisions in society, right? The Amerixes, the Kibes, those people who kind of lead with hate, right? People who lead against as opposed to lead for something, instead of leading us toward something, it's like they push us against something, right? And the need to be able to think about that. I am desperate to record this pod with you guys. If you guys would be open to recording a pod sort of midweek as a special, I'll do it. But the next thing that you can do, there's a lady called Miss Moms on Twitter. I'm going to connect you because she has the intellectual framework. Like, because the thing about it is revolutions require an intellectual framework. That is what, sort of like MLK's or Gandhi's was non-resistance. The Mau Mau's or the Panthers was resistance. But even the Panthers were not all just physical resistance. The physical army with, who can fight is only one part of the Panthers. Who are the other Panthers who are not fighting? What are the other things of resistance? And so like kind of like this either or scenario, no. Why were we also deflated? The minute somebody said, oh, let's march to State House, as opposed to being like, let's consolidate gains, because it's like we were going to occupy Parliament. So the next day after occupying Parliament should have been kind of like maybe the next one perhaps should have been a sit-in at Parliament, or, so the fact that none of us, or the voices that came out at that point being like, no, don't occupy Parliament. Don't occupy State House because that's going to be considered treasonous and that's going to be considered a coup, and that's when they can like shut down the country. So like being able to redirect thought, to hold space for rage, and then to ask how the rage can transmute into something like really powerful. Fuck. I am the person for the moment. I'm just in Kampala, plantation, because, this is what it looks like when you're a millennial. You have to survive the system and you have to continue building the systems that produce opportunities, because it's not like any of these motherfuckers are coming to save us in creative industry. So there I am.
Damn. Wow. Hey, wow. I know.
I said a lot. And now
that was
it's
very
here.
Profound, yeah.
Yeah. Also these days in Kenya, if you sleep, you wake up, it's like 79 hours have already passed.
I know.
Because of the headlines.
Yeah,
so much happened.
What? To go up? Damn, hivyo. So first, thanks for reaching out about like wanting to record this pod. I really wanted us to be together. And today when I was, setting the intention for what we can do together is like inspiration. I think that's the thing that we can do. We can bring some light. It's like your candle, my candle, all candles together. And then we can inspire one another. Because what is happening is change. Like the old system is dying and the new system is being born. That's literally what is actually happening.
You finished the first page.
No. There's a rhythm.
Yeah.
If we are in this moment, and we are in this moment, I think that the most useful thing is to first start with where we are and just fully occupy where we are. What are we learning about resistance? So there are very many of us who, for the first time, you are now engaging with Kenya, as an active citizen. By default, or you are called out, to be like, yo, Chaxy, where are you?
Where the hell are you?
What's happening? That you just find yourself, goddamn, I'm inside a movement. I'm inside, like, what is even the language? Where are we right now? And in prep for this conversation, I called Wandi Androya, in fact, because I was like, hey, I'm so confused. I have 10 pages. What am I saying?
Yeah.
She then added more confusion as a good teacher. A good teacher asks you questions and you're like, you what? I hadn't considered that, and then like allowing myself to filter that some more and being like, actually, the place where we should start is right now, where are we? And what are we learning about the work of building Kenya? So in my view, we are continuing the work that some people began in the 60s, and that work got hijacked. And the work is, what is Kenya? What do you want this thing to be? What is a system that works? What are practical examples of systems that work? How can we build upon those systems that work, even as we reject systems that don't work, right? And this work is ongoing. And I don't think we've taken enough time to be like, bro, but it's really actually happening, right? Hanifa is NHIF right now.
Yep.
She's a one-woman NHIF. Is she figuring out like what are real claims, who needs attention, which hospitals, claims from hospitals, working with other people. True. Like, I saw her making a tweet today about like how guys at M-Shwari, is it M-Shwari? M-Changa have been so helpful in helping like combing out through the thing. They didn't owe that work, but because people asked, hey, support, they've been combing through the thing with her, right? That's not a thing we ever knew could happen. True. Honestly, me, I didn't even know that. That's what NHIF is meant
supposed to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
So we've never seen things like those. Yeah. When doctors were like, hey, we're going to pull up. We're going to be at Jamia Mosque. We're going to be helping if you get caught up. Nobody should be getting caught up because anyway. There should be no tear gas, let alone rubber bullets, let alone live bullets. Nobody should be injured. But in the event that you are injured, doctors were there, right? Yeah. They crowdsourced everything that they needed. Gauze, bandages, blah, 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 ambulances, systems to get people to nearest hospitals. Yeah. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's a public healthcare system. That's what emergency is supposed to work. That's the way it's meant to work, right? And then you juxtapose that, for example, with Hanifa again yesterday going to Kenyatta and like, recording and verifying and people being like, hey, this is what's really happening, the neglect, the system not working from the inside, right? A lot of people who have gunshot wounds who haven't yet been treated. I think there's a guy she was saying who had a gunshot wound whose leg now has gangrene, has to be amputated because of lack of care. So we are seeing those things. We are building new systems in real time, but we're not giving ourselves the credit for building those new systems. Kweni, what did the Panthers do when they were running feeding programs, right? That work that Wawera has been doing, like with Food for Education. Wawera has been doing the work that government should be doing in providing meals to kids in school, a meal a day, which we agree is like such a big thing for getting kids to go to school and keeping kids in school. That's a public system that's been working, right? And we don't give ourselves enough credit because I think we're always so mesmerized with the old systems, the systems that we didn't build, that we inherited, that don't work, that government is meant to be making work and that they don't work. Because also, honestly, why doesn't NHIF work? Because someone just goes there
all the money they receive.
Place, they just take a chunk of cash. Nobody's ever asked questions. Even when they ask questions, no accountability, no nothing, right?
Then they have printing errors in the millions.
Kwanza hiyo.
260-something million.
Right?
Printing errors.
Robbery, theft. I think the thing that's also happening is as this old system is falling, and I want to assure all of us, the system is falling as the new system is being born. The things are happening together. At a very spiritual level, you have to make a decision where to place your attention. The way I can think about this is like when you start working out, right? The first day when you start working out, that 20 minutes that you do, you've already done so much more for your body than you had ever done. If you'd never worked out, for example, it's your first time. If you keep that up, by the end of the week, your body's changing. But when you look at yourself in the mirror, you see
the same exact.
You see the same exact thing, but actually your body is changing, right? So the thing that you are seeing is already the past. Because the new thing that is happening, your body is already new. So the gap in time before you see the changes doesn't mean that the changes are not happening, right? And so if you stay focused on the thing that you are looking at, you imagine that nothing is happening, right? You become discouraged. You feel like, let me just have a cheat day because it's not like anything is moving anywhere, right? But if you stay the course, in a short manner of time, the material form must change to give way to the new reality, right? It just must. If you're eating correctly and you're putting in your 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you're not even doing a lot. You've changed the way you eat and you're putting in the work, the new body must be revealed. It's exactly what is happening with Kenya. The new Kenya will become apparent and more apparent and more apparent. The new will start to become more, or capture our imagination more than the old. And that's my job as an artist, which is to lead us into a space of imagination. That's what we do when you're inventing a song. Where do those words come from or bars? You're like relying on your imagination. You're calling forth
Jabba.
Nangwai, sawa. But even those things are pathways. They're opening the space for you not to be in your own brain so that the inspiration can flow, right? So even as you're writing the song, even if you don't know the next lyric, the song, you are writing it. Do you understand? It becomes like bar by bar by bar, the song becomes. But if you're just sitting there mad at the paper that you can't see the whole song, then you can't receive the song. True. And that's the thing that's happening now, is that we are birthing ourselves into a new Kenya, and we have to spend much more of our energy on the new Kenya and much less energy on the Kenya that is dying and the language of the Kenya that is dying. And it is dying.
Definitely. Mm.
The first reason I know for a fact that it is dying is like, this is the first time where like there is a concerted discussion for, by the way, guys, the system doesn't work. Everybody's aligned on that matter. Even if you have privilege, even if right now you're like the most top exec at Google and you're a Kenyan, you know for a fact that the system is not working because in your WhatsApp groups, there are people you're changiaing for whatever, funerals, hospital, education. There is a nephew of yours who has graduated and there's just an aunt who hollers at you per day. Nitafutie mtu wangu kitu. Na unatafuta na upati. Na when is source. Right? I think there's a window in time that we have now where it's everybody can see the system is not working. Number two, why?
Do you think the guys in the political elites?
Nah, fuck those motherfuckers. Fuck
For sure them they don't.
Yeah.
Barasa this mass
Fuck those motherfuckers. Fuck them. Ooh, fuck them. So sorry. If you're watching this thing with your mom, I apologize. Why have you brought your mom to my check?
That's a una get key.
Bring your mother to blankets. Who got family friendly? Mic check. We talk how we want to talk.
The mom was like, this lady is so smart. She's very...
My parent was paying attention. Like, Allah.
No, but trust me, but the sentiments are very...
This is also part of the change. We are literally bringing profanities to the foreground because we are done with inaitangwa aje politics ya be nice. What do we call it?
Sinio.
Come on, the word is
Sinio. Yeah, it's there's a word for it.
Respectability politics. When you want to say something,
you say,
mheshimiwa, you say your excellency, you say honorable, okay? Then, you be polite, you be firm in the thing that you want to say, but you be polite, that people can understand you. You politeness yetu imetufikisha wapi?
Your excellency, sir. Let me ask you a question.
Acha nikwambie kuna siku ingine Twitter huko early days nilikuwa nimeandikia like his excellency nikasema ati your excellency sir. Manze nilitukana hapo Twitter. Excellency ya nani? What's
excellent? Exactly.
Indeed. Thank you. Mumenikiwa. Siku hata ninajua nilikuwa ni mgonjwa. Ai bwana nikatibika.
Which is true. I don't know if I'm sure you guys have seen the photo of two guys raising middle fingers to
that guy.
Yeah. And I saw someone did a very nice graphic and the copy was profanity is the language of the free.
Indeed. Shefa Okoro said that. Okay?
Love it.
Okoro. Shefa Okoro said that. Okay. Our party boss of Ukweli. Manze, we even have the solutions. We have already built them, guys. We are winning. I'm coming to how we have a party because we are in a majoritarian world. We must occupy all spaces. But I say this to your point, Chaxy, which you were trying to bring, which is my second point.
Gotcha.
For the first time, we are very clearly aligned. There is us and there is them. The ops. They are not like us.
Period.
They are not like, bro, this shit, please.
The owner of your host.
Say, Ovi, no.
I'm a tweet of your host.
Episode title of your host.
Of your
episode title. Yeah.
Because and I think it's an important thing, right? So for years, that has been my position. None of them are for us. Because the system that they subscribe to, we have different incentives, we have different games. It's like us, we are playing football. Them, they're playing rugby. The only thing that is common is a ball. There's an audience and there's some money in this matter. There is nothing else that we're doing that is the same. You think that you're electing a representative to go and further your cause and to produce public good.
Yeah.
The person is there being like, bro, I now have keys to the granary.
Yeah, let me
right?
do what I gotta do.
I gotta do what I gotta do in the time I gotta do it. And I have to make sure I eat enough.
And sweep the whole
and
thing.
Get some for next time so I can be able to run for next time. And even when I'm out of this thing,
I'm
I'm set up for
sorted.
life. Right? So now you're telling that person accountability and they're like, bro, I really understand what you're saying, but me, I'm a thief. My job is stealing.
Why should I work for it when I can take it?
Yeah.
This is confusing. I'm confused. What are you asking of me? I came here to steal. Okay? You need a representative. In fact, I agree with you. You definitely need a representative. Right? And so what happens is, it's true. These guys have to live a double life, right?
Yeah.
Because their real occupation is furthering their own personal interests.
Yeah.
But they entered under the guise of being our representative. And the two of us share a language called politics. And we've agreed every 5 years we come, you convince me, you tell me what you're going to do, we negotiate. If you convince me, I give you my vote. My vote becomes your legitimacy to enter the space, right? On my behalf. So we speak a common language. So the first thing that I also think has to happen between us and politicians is we have to break it.
Yeah.
The Tower of Babel has to come down. We're not talking the same language. We're not talking the same language, bro. Because when we say accountability, you're like, hey, you guys want to make the thing like Sudan. Sorry. We are just asking why you bought 1 crate of soda for $1 million shillings.
Like, what?
How is that?
That's more expensive than the other Coke.
Like a cock.
Drops mic.
I'm just saying, if you told me I spent $1 million bob on Coke.
You'd be like, yeah, bro,
And then
I
it's
get
kids.
it.
I'm so confused.
It's insane.
It's insane,
annoying.
right? And it's maddening. And that's why it's important to recognize that it's a system. I was listening to now one of their snitches. So now Jimmy Wanjigi is out here being like, hey, you were born, this guy stole. I'm like, bro, you are cut out of the deal, but sour, snitch, no worries. Also, snitches get stitches.
True.
Anyway, none of our business.
But also,
whoever you're
the more information you want to give us will work.
Yeah, exactly.
So
No,
just give us the
give
info.
us.
Give
I'm
us the
like, yeah,
information.
you
Another
can
Jacob
say,
Juma. It's
indeed,
okay. You
just
give us the info.
Talk
It's
about
fine.
it. Talk about it, bro. So now we know. Okay, got you. It just confirms the point. It's like the whole system, So even the people who voted for this government being like, these guys are so different. And some of us who refused to vote were like, I'm confused. You are saying side A and side B of the same tape are different.
How?
What are we talking about? It's the same artist. It's the same institution. They are all locked into this thing together.
Yeah.
And then the parasite class, all those guys around them who make things happen, who
KYMs.
do their bidding, whether it's like bloggers
side,
or guys who help them clean money, guys of,
Do their dirty
wash,
work,
guys of, whatever the level of parasite you are.
Yeah.
All those motherfuckers are not like us.
True.
They're not
like us.
incentivized by the same things. You're incentivized by a public system that works. That school should work for everybody.
Healthcare should work.
Exactly. Then they're like, bro, but if my kids go to a British school, it gives me social standing and social class. So they're not incentivized to fix. Why would they fix public healthcare? But also, I'm not even rumor mongering. At the beginning of my song, Kenyan Message, I'm so exhausted as a Kenyan artist. How long have I sung these things? I play the video. I play an interview by the then Secretary of Treasury, Treasury, right? Rotich, who was like, bro, if you fix public healthcare, what happens to private sector? We have to do the balance.
That's true.
Bro, that was on Citizen. I'm not framing him. I just took the clip and I put it there. Because my point to you was to understand it is by design. The system is not broken. The system is working on time. Correctly, 100%. It is designed to extract resource from us, right? So, a practical thing. Doctors showed us that, actually, you can treat people on the side of the road. You can treat people inside a hospital, which is what the Black Panthers,
Inside the mosque.
Inside a mosque, you can treat people. You can build some partnerships with nearby hospitals so that you can send people, to those hospitals. So now they've been posted on 20-something of September. They're expecting to hear the ruling on their salaries. All of us are holding our breath because if this government is to behave the way they've been behaving.
What did they sign? Is that what they signed recently?
They signed
that they will give interns, they'll be posted, but
and
our
then
settle on the salary.
September.
Exactly. When the ruling comes through is when they know.
So wanapostiwa without salary, what's the plan? How does that work? I thought the two come together.
Doctors,
can you offer someone
you
a
can
job
tell us
without
in
pay?
the comments, but
Yes,
my
you know
understanding
what I mean?
of the scenario is I think they're going to use the letters that they were given.
To backdate.
No, they were given the letters, I think now with this 70K offer, the one that is not the one for the CBA.
So they're not ending with the CBA.
Yes,
the
and then now
one.
when the ruling is made, if the ruling is made that they should earn at CBA, within the CBA.
Thank you. This is for you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Provisions. Mumeona venye nimeshaanza kusweating.
Hey.
Ma points na ndio tumeanza podcast. That is jamaliza page nusu. So,
but I think even to that point, I think doctors have a lot of back pay pending. Because I think they have a lot of arrears.
Yeah.
Within that sector, even the ones who've been working.
Yes.
Because I remember, God rest his soul, Dr. Stephen Mongusu, the one we lost during COVID, died without 6 months of his pay.
Correct.
Which came immediately after he died. For some reason, it was magically found in the system.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear
wrong.
that.
So I'm just thinking, even the doctors who are working right now, I don't think they have their pay up to date. I'm not too sure, but you can tell us in the comments.
Indeed, tell us.
So I'm thinking with the interns joining, once the September ruling is done, they'll
So
probably...
now this new rule, this new posting, whatever they've made with the government, says that if it rules in their favor, they will be backdated from when they've joined, right? From when they've been posted. But if it doesn't, in my view now, this is what I want to offer. Nachangia mswada, sijui venye checkmates mtaona. But what we've seen is we can have a parallel public health system.
Yes.
So, for example, if they are shuffled in this ruling in September, actually doctors can just withdraw from public hospital and then just run a new public healthcare system with us. And I'm like, now if lawyers also in the comments can tell us, can we do a class action against NHIF so we actually just don't pay NHIF? Now give them the NHIF. Since we're already paying, now pay to this new system.
Yeah.
We can actually just build new systems. Sorry, we've already done it.
True. Yeah.
We can just now
enforce,
build upon, grow them,
Yeah.
finance them. Because now it worked because we donated.
Yeah.
So for long-term viability, it might need more than donations.
Yes.
It might actually require that we just pay to the system.
Directly.
Yeah.
So since we're already paying to NHIF and it's being stolen and it's not happening, see, we just...
Directly to the
doctors.
source. True.
And
so many doctors have private health
Practices,
facilities.
Yeah.
So can we just
Can we
convert those
support
into
those?
public health facilities?
Yeah.
Hanifa has already shown us that actually we can
Mobilize.
we can figure out how money gets paid from a central kitty for people's claims.
Dispersed, yeah.
Okay, so we just build upon that system. Because basically what she's shown us is how NHIF is meant to work.
True.
So we can just build upon that system. What I'm saying is we're in the space of imagination. If the thing we have isn't working, you can make a new one even as you anguka na the other one.
True.
Why must you wait? Why must you wait?
You know, the thing is, we're talking about the institutions.
It's wild, but it is time. Not wild, but like
It's doable.
you're making a new Kenya.
Yeah.
The other thing, and just to finish my point, to build the final, persuasion for this matter is to recognize that the institution.
Build the final persuasion.
Yeah.
Drama.
Our landed friend.
I did it. The education, I got it.
I admire how eloquent you are.
Honestly.
And how you're able to find the correct words. Because me, there's specific things I'll just text Muthoni or call Muthoni. Because I know you'll see.
Yeah.
I'll be like, what is it? Me, sometimes I don't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I envy that.
I'm still stuck at parasite class.
Yeah.
I didn't have a name
Parasite,
for the kindikis.
Yeah.
Makupe hawa wanashindanga hapa like mama hawa ndio mwezi ongea na governor directly kuna lazima mnavigate sijui mpigie na nini
when the host dies kila wote
they must die off with them.
Because even the CSs when they were futwa, I'm sure like a lot of people
they told me
I want a kazi kesho.
So when we're saying that you're imagining a new country, it's really critical that you get that why. So there's some people who believe, and I used to be those guys, that look, all we need is the right people in the institutions and they'll work, right? Yeah. But now let's just look at, for example, an example, okay? You're a Kenyan civil servant who works in immigration. Why in God's good earth have you not released somebody's passport?
True. For
Are you
7
mad?
months.
Are you mad? That is somebody's travel
Are you mad,
document.
bruv?
That's someone's travel document, right? Why are you not doing your job?
Yeah.
Because the frustrations within the system. So systems get blocked, right? And so we know so many people. I'm sure you have personal friends, guys who've either gone and tried to work at like KRA or like in Gava, and in a very short while they become super jaded because they're like, my personal enthusiasm, my values, and my ethos gets smashed by the system.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's also a system problem.
Yeah.
So you need to change the thinking internally. You need to have so many people who are sharing this value system that things should work, working inside that system so that they can collapse the people who are not working from inside the system, right? So there's space for us to occupy in entering systems so that there's more of us who think the same and we can try and collapse things internally.
Yeah.
As that is happening, you can also just build parallel systems.
Yeah. You don't have to wait to find this solution to start building.
And
as you seek,
and the thing that we know about it is the minute you build a system of your own, right? What does that mean to the system? Irrelevance.
Yeah.
There's nothing politicians hate more than irrelevance. And also still access to the national pot. So now they're going to start making the system work. So then, lucky us, either we have a parallel system that works or you compel the system to work. Either way, we win. And we continue to win because you're in a big project called Building Kenya.
Yeah.
And this reimagination of Kenya, me, for real, I had minimized Kenya. I must admit, I'm one of those guys.
Same.
I'm like, bro.
Most of us, to be honest.
Yeah, even you guys, were you like that?
I've given up, yeah. I didn't even vote in the last election. I don't regret
even
it.
aside from that, like, I voted, but it got to a point where, when you wake up and you see the news, oh, this billion has been stolen, or this and this and this, which institution can't account for this, and it gets to a point you hear, it's like you're numb.
Yeah, you become so desensitized.
It's like, another billion. Uhuru said 2 billion is stolen every day. And all of us are just like, cool.
Yeah. Cool. And I'm also like, bro, we were really asleep. Because like literally nobody threw a shoe at him in that compressor.
No one cared.
You remember when those journalists, there's a journalist who threw shoes at George Bush?
Shut up.
Both shoes.
Exactly. He's like, the first one missed, I'm going to throw. We were so asleep. We were so zombified. We were so
1,000. You're like, hey, make a number.
So firstly, I want to say shout out to the poster guy. The poster guys of this movement. Because it was until I saw the number and what it can do. It's like 1 billion means. It means, like Devin D's salary means how many interns posted. And I'm like, bro, what are we actually saying? Right? And that kind of awakening, that radicalization into active citizenship is just because people are telling you the truth, right? I mean, I don't know. I can't remember an year where I really thought about a finance bill. I think last year I heard about a finance bill 2023. I was like, this thing, I guess it's not so good, but okay. I didn't really.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it was until this year where I was like, bro. Wait, sorry, what? Right? And then I went to the town hall where Kiam Tata was actually saying he actually took, the case to a petition to court. Because previously, when they used to do finance bill, it just became effective immediately. When they'd read the finance
act
bill, it became an
law
act
immediately,
right? So it is him who went to court and was like, but guys, this violates the principle of if you tax me, I must have some say.
In how that money. So public participation.
That one, it was inside the constitution. So then that got, it's like, sawa, you're right. Indeed, the principle exists. So, sawa. You have to do public participation. The reason why we did public participation this time is because guys told us, amukeni kumeibiwa. Then they did for us posters and we're like, indeed, kumeibiwa. Then guys did the thing of like, hey, in whichever languages. So the thing now was reaching shags, nini, not even shags, just your auntie who lives over here. Just, the language mattered. Being able to hear it and see it in a language that made sense to us. So we became sensitized and we're like, hey, we can say something. Okay, got you. Then it's like, let's tell them. oh, here are numbers, tell them. To be honest, me, I didn't even think about the numbers as Salimia, like doxing at the beginning. Me, I saw it the way in America, you know, it's like, oh, write to your representative
And tell them your problems.
you don't want them to go to this thing. So I was like, sawa, I guess we have become American. Sawa,
do it.
email writing, dear sir, sijafurahi.
Reject.
Tafadhali reject on my behalf. Niliku employ, niliku gay kura, please. Right? Then it's like, then they were like, sawa, we've had you, but no. As we're still gonna do whatever.
Yeah.
That's the first time where I was actually like, why do we call these guys leaders? They're not leaders.
Who are you leading?
These motherfuckers are representatives.
Thank you.
That's literally the job. Representation. That is literally the job. Like, the way it's literally, whatever your day job, literally you have a day job, you have some KPIs. If you don't do the job, you get a warning, then you get fired.
Yeah.
Like that. It ain't a big deal. They're not like some lords. They're not like specially qualified. They're just, you guys are just meant to go there and tell them what I said. You literally have no power. I delegate my power to you, right? Like, parliament isn't sacred. The thing that is sacred is our power, the Kenyan people's power that is held in trust by you guys who are in this room. So how can we tell you, then you tell us you're not gonna do what we are saying at
my
because
boss.
You're not your I'm even getting
I have allegiance to my boss,
my
so
boss.
I do
I'm
what
like,
you tell
sorry,
me.
my allegiance is to my party. I said, I'm confused. Bro,
because
did your party elect you?
Your party
Are you serving?
Is it the party?
Who are you serving? The party or the people?
Whose interest?
Who elected you? Why were we voting? Why were we on a line counting?
Your votes.
You got 298, you got 999, so you're the winner. So it means that my vote is the one that put you in.
Exactly.
I'm the boss, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm literally the boss. I didn't know that. I mean, I guess I knew, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
You, did you know?
I knew.
Like, actively.
Yeah, that's why I decided I think we even covered it. I was like, listen, man.
He didn't see the point of voting.
Please, these are the options I'm given. Tell me why I should exercise my power. Like, also, it's my power not to vote. If I feel like the system is pressing me towards an option I don't like, why should I participate in that?
Indeed, that's what I always thought. I was always like, not voting is voting. Right?
Yeah.
It's like...
It's also voting.
It's also voting. So we're like, it's a democracy. So the majority have their way. But like, also, bro, it was like 200 and something votes. That was the difference. But I was also like, it was choosing between shit and shit. I decided I'm not choosing between either of these shits. This shit.
It's not like I didn't care. I cared enough to know that I don't want the options presented to me.
But for me, the lesson in this thing was like, I didn't recognize that literally we can tell them, change it. Then they're like, no. Then we're like, change it. Then now they are like, you guys are serious. Then we're like, yeah, bitch, we're actually serious. And then the president's like, sawa, I've withdrawn it. I didn't know we could do that. I mean, I knew hypothetically, but I've never
in actuality, true.
I've never had that experience. And I don't think we're giving ourselves enough credit in coming into awareness of that. Like, bro, these people are literally representatives. So I think also another thing that's happening right now is the power dynamic is shifting back to us. And I don't think we're saying that enough. We just keep getting caught up in their narratives for like, and now what next? Now, we have to wait till 5 years. And then, if we did. And I was like, yeah, indeed. Yeah, we can wait till 5 years. But what are other provisions? Because it doesn't have to be till 5 years. Things happen. Like people become sick when they're in office.
True.
Like an MP can die when they're in office.
Yeah.
We don't wait till 5 years to get another MP.
True.
So there's a process. Oh, okay. So what happens? Like if we decide, for example, that, it's illegitimate and then you push and then actually they leave office. Oh yeah, there's a whole system for how they leave office. So then what's the big deal? What's the crisis? There's no crisis. It's like, if you leave, for example, if a president resigns, the vice president takes over. I think the vice president holds it for X number of days, 90 days?
Yeah.
The vice president, no, I don't think if the president resigns, I'm not sure. I feel like
military.
It goes
No, never. Those are lies.
Chill. So if the vice president...
There's never a provision where the thing goes to the military.
So
never.
The speaker.
There is no provision. In fact, there's 9 steps. There are 9 steps.
Because I feel like, so the president and the vice president come as a package. So if the president resigns, automatically it means. But if the president dies, then the vice president
takes over for 90 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it 90 days or till end of term?
No,
90 days and then you do an election day. An election. Like what happened when Kenyatta died and Moi was the vice president. So Moi held.
But the new constitution, so if Ruto dies tomorrow, and Gachagua takes over, Gachagua will take over for the rest of the term.
Okay.
But if Ruto resigns and Gachagua, Wetangula will come in for 90 days.
And
In
then
those
an
90
election,
days,
yeah.
they'll have to conduct an election.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal?
True.
I'm
It
like, bro,
can be done.
what's happening? Like France, right now, it's Macron by himself. That guy woke up and is like, actually, we are doing, I'm calling for snap elections. He saw the way elections were happening in the European Parliament. He saw how the right wing was getting ahead.
Yeah.
He was like, no, we have to break this thing. We can't wait until the time.
Yeah. Differentiate right and left wing when you're done with the point.
Right wing is actually, all of it is politics language, but right wing would be Akina Trump, right? Right wing is, actually no, Trump is right. Actually, Trump is nothing. Let me think about how to frame that better.
Yeah.
Because that's like, Trump is like Le Pen, right? The worst on the right, right?
Mm-hmm.
The right generally tends to be conservative,
Okay.
pro-system,
Okay.
pro-status quo.
Okay.
Then the left.
The left is also pro-system, but them they are reform system for
Got
public
you.
good,
Got you.
right? Them they are,
Okay.
them they are for
So
public.
we want to see
Left-
changes. We
chef,
want to
yeah.
maintain.
Yeah, we want to maintain. And then also right tends to be very pro-private capital. Left tends to be pro-public systems.
Got you.
Yeah, overall. Then you have centrists on both sides. Like you can be on the right, but you're in the middle.
Okay.
And you can be on the left,
But
and
you're
you
in the
can be
middle.
in the middle, right? And then obviously you have the extremists.
Extremists.
Yeah, okay,
Got
okay.
you.
Got you.
All of that, however, is politics language. So all of that disempowers us because all of that takes us back to motherfucking politicians
Yeah.
who we have established are not like us. Classy,
Session.
Not like us.
not like us.
Of your host.
of your host, okay? So then, we are also having to imagine new language, which is not a new language. You're just occupying the right language.
Yeah.
Usimuite leader. Leaders come from God. No. God is not a registered voter in the constituency Kenya. Sawa.
Tell Mariah.
Call them.
Mimi say my God has chosen me. Well,
God anointed. God
Chaxy didn't vote.
appointed. Get the heck out of here.
and yeah, Chaxy haku vote. So which one?
Mjumbe, representative. Representative meaning, who are they representing? You.
Yeah.
So who is the mheshimiwa? You. Because somebody has to come to you and convince you that they have what it takes
Your best interest.
to represent your best interest. For you to move from A to B, they are able to identify with your need and they have the means, the resources, the energy, the time to help you move from A to B.
Yeah.
So it is you who is mheshimiwa.
Can you lock this door?
And the need for us kujiheshimu. Manze mjiheshimu. What does it look like so that you can know that there's a new Kenya? Sai MP hawezi ingia anyhowly kuongea kwa kanisa yenu. Did we see on Sabasaba in Holy Family Basilica Youth Mass?
Yeah.
And the priest had to let young people fly the Kenyan flags.
Yeah.
Because it is our God that we are seeking, not the priest's God.
Yeah.
It is God you're seeking. That house that you go to seek God, whether you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're a Hindu, you're a whatever, insert your means to acquire an understanding in a relationship with that which is eternal, that which is God, that which is you. You are an embodiment of God, the thing that is you, that lives and breathes, and the thing that releases this body. Ukikufa, the thing that cannot die, is life. There is only life. Life emanates only from God. You are an extension of God creator. You deserve kuheshimiwa. Just by virtue of who you are. You are God incarnate. You deserve it. Number two, nobody asked Kenyans if they're going to be Kenyans. There were nation states out here living their best lives. Mkoloni akakuja akasema, you are now a thing called Kenya.
Yeah.
Right? And nobody asked whether you wanted to be. And so when the colonial project in 63, that should have been the first conversation. Hi guys, do we want to continue? Do you guys think that this is okay? It was not your choice, but now you are here, Shall we continue?
Yeah.
How shall we proceed? Even if we couldn't have had the conversation with everybody, we could have had it as EAC. Do these boundaries still make sense? Why are there such a thing as Kenyan Maasais and Tanzanian Maasais? That's one community. The community should have had a choice, a referendum. Hey, us guys want to be in or we don't want to be in. Kenyan Somalis. What are we talking about?
Even us Koreans, because we are the border. There's
The Korea
in Tanzania and the Korea in
Even
Kenya.
the
And we're
Luos in
literally-
Uganda.
Luos in
the Luos
Uganda. You see?
And you know,
doesn't
like
make
your
sense.
border, Unambia, this is the border, but it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, I can
Gani.
just cross it.
What are you saying?
It's just imaginary.
Right? Niliona Twitter. My engineers wakise, what was that? Someone was making a joke, but they want to move the equator. There was
Yeah.
you saw.
No, I
Okay.
saw
My engineer was
Equator accountability. Guys,
I think it was goofy because I saw the Twitter and someone said you will not guess what this is a response to. Someone was displaying their card as a speaker.
Equator
Accountability.
Equator mobility.
We said, guys,
That's hilarious.
I was dead.
Squeeze wanasemanga amkeni.
Wameiba equator.
I'm kidding. I said, bruh, the equator, not the equator. So, I mean, but that's just to say that it's just an imagination. What has Bitcoin, cryptocurrency taught us? Like, oh, money is just an idea when we congregate and we say, oh, this thing, we've assigned it value and we've agreed that this is the value that we've assigned it, right? Because before money, people used to trade. Actually, outside of money, even now, how many times do you trade with your pal? I'll give you my t-shirt for your hoodie or whatever. You just trade. Yeah, you can barter trade. We don't have to use money. That's why guys are like, oh, actually, we can do crypto. We don't have to use the USD as a standard. Isn't that what BRICS is talking about? The whole idea of BRICS is like, why is the USD the standard of money of everything in the world? So things are just ideas.
Yeah.
Countries are just ideas. And nobody asked us whether we wanted to be in this country. Nevertheless, here we are. So now we are the ones who get to ask ourselves, if we're proceeding, and we are proceeding, how are we proceeding?
Yeah.
So I'm recommending, one of the things is kujiheshimu, ni wewe ujipatie heshima. Na uyo mjumbe, ni mjumbe. And the thing that we have already begun to do, social jail, I just want us to do more, guys. Rage, add it. See you, that hateration, that deep well of hateration that we have found. Because Kenyans, we are haters.
True.
Do you think
If you're a Kenyan, you're a hater.
Yeah.
Mwass, it's a default setting.
He's very public.
Hakuna times tu unananga tu something, tu kitu, tu msanii anaimba unapata tu na. Then you're like, bro, what's wrong with you? Fix your face. Then you're like, is it that I don't like the song or am I being a hater? You're like, is this a criticism or is this a hateration?
Yeah.
So we have tapped into our hate. You understand? Yeah. We must hate their behavior, the arrogance, the Alice Ngangas, the money, the stupidity, the disgusting, the gloria, tunakuchukia. Karen, oh my God.
I lost 10,000 followers.
On the floor.
She's an actual Karen.
This chick is actually an op. It's in her name and we hadn't seen it.
Oh my.
This is the video of her using her phone in parliament the whole time.
The whole
Playing
time.
Candy Crush.
Right? Okay. That is your representative. We must hate them.
No, but who?
We must hate them. We must embarrass them. When their wives enter saloons with us, we must sneer. You must enter your auntie era. You must make them feel uncomfortable, unwanted, unloved, unseen. Ignore them.
Yeah.
If you are the saloon babe and you're giving everybody tea, don't give her. Don't offer her tea.
Leo unamsuka line
When
zake
she's
anaenda.
Pitisha blood like kwa forehead.
This idea of like how we used to look at them. Hata nimeona
gods.
leo, as gods, the people who roll with them. Don't nimeona, sijui, people. Bro, they're not gods.
Yeah.
We don't like them. Your money is disgusting. If you have a pal, if you're still in a WhatsApp group with a pal of a child who is a politician, you must sneer upon them.
True.
They must feel our social contempt for the idea of what they represent and for their behavior. You guys, all the time I remember when the Garissa massacre attack, when the Al-Shabaab attacked Garissa, do you remember that the police helicopter was with some youngins in Coast who are posting on Instagram?
Yep.
We have to revisit such things. Who are these police commissioners' children? Who are they? Who are their wives?
True.
We must put people in social jail because what we are saying is that this thing is unacceptable. That's a system dying. What is the behavior we have to acquire for? The system that is resurrecting accountability. at a very personal level. You, if you're a civil servant right now holding somebody's ID or passport, you must ask yourself, am I mad?
Honestly.
Are you actually mad?
Not ask, tell yourself,
Yourself,
I am
you are mad. Call
Yeah.
yourself to a small meeting and immediately defect. Defect from madness. Become saved on sight. Bitch, change your ways.
Honestly.
Motherfucker, change your ways. It's completely unacceptable. Una unafiki kwa Mkenya mwingine. You're making somebody else's life
Unbearable.
hell.
Why?
Unbearable. So that you can get a bribe.
Especially
3,000.
the guys who have like the priority lead on the passports, like the guys who are going for treatment.
Yeah.
Or like maybe they're going to start a scholarship.
Education.
And they need it like tomorrow, and you're being told, oh, your mom is going to India for treatment. Oh, 10K too.
Appointment yako 2027, nigga.
Which is why also I'll never forget all those motherfucking incels who are online insulting Ian. Why was Ian beating a police officer?
Ian Joroge.
Ian.
Because the guy was trying to shake him down for 10 G's.
Yeah.
Which he didn't
A
have.
19-year-old, even if he had,
Okay.
why?
First and foremost, he didn't have it. Secondly, he'd have to get it from his old lady, who is hustling.
Third, it was a traffic offense.
Exactly.
Thank you.
No one died.
So you just take me kindly
Day, one time.
ahead, okay, to the station. Then we go in the afternoon. I mean, traffic offenses. How many of us have sat there in traffic offense court? They just waste your whole day. You go at 8 a.m., they mention your case at 2. You say, okay, I'm sorry. You pay. You get
you
out.
go.
Because you were talking on the phone as you were driving. What's the big deal? And then people in the comments being like, oh, but you cannot take the law in your own hands. You cannot beat a police officer. I'm like, incels. Here you are, incels. He was right. He was right. Sorry. He was right. He was right. He was right. Because when the system does not allow you, I don't know what else to say.
He was right and also left. And right and left. right and left.
Right? So what should have the police, the police commissioner come out and said? He should have said, the guy took the law in his own hands. Truly, that was not legal. But we recognize the justification. And moving forward, polisi ambaye anasumbua watu kwenye barabara wajue ili iwe funzo kwake na wengine wenye tabia kama yake.
Occupy the cheek.
This is not acceptable, right? That should have been a moment, for example, that the police commissioner would have said, actually, yeah, Kenyans, help me. Let's
Could have
clean
been a
this
learning
thing.
moment for the country.
A learning moment. Let's clean
this guy
this
was
thing.
found in a few hours and they sent like a whole cohort of cops to arrest him.
Yeah.
7 niggas.
Yeah.
9 or something.
And then 22 brought him to court.
And also, his lawyer said
No,
they
shout out to his
molested
lawyer.
him.
Yeah.
They injured him. The guy had a sling.
And a cast, like, why?
There was a judge in the court that day.
Unbothered.
The judge immediately, I'm like, that's why I'm like, bro, this thing must go. The judge in that moment was like, how is it possible that this person who was in police custody has now come with a
cast on his
arm? The next week, a police officer shot a judge inside the fucking court.
Yeah.
What are we talking about, guys?
And one of the cops who arrested him, was also arrested for robbery with violence.
Oh, yes.
Days after, by the way.
Yep.
That's why I tweeted, this was like 3 years ago. I said, if you're a fiction writer in Kenya, your main competition is reality.
Honestly.
Unaamka unapata headline inabamba kuliko story yako.
Right?
Do better.
Right? So, as an end, and it's important that we recognize that as we are building a new thing, there'll be moments when we don't know how to react.
True.
We won't know. You can't know because you're in unknown unknowns. You've never built a country from scratch before.
True.
You've never built a system
It's giving
from
Nara
scratch.
Smith, but okay.
Before. It's giving who?
Nara Smith.
I don't not tell me.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my, okay, so
That's
there's
why.
this babe on TikTok. Her name is Nara Smith. So she makes everything from scratch. I'm talking chewing gum, sweets,
Even
everything.
toothpaste.
So now when you said you're making a country from scratch, it's giving Nara
I will need
Smith.
some soil.
How do we make some soil? Hey, bro, even so, Nini, witches of Twitter. I said, hey.
Wait,
Witches of Twitter.
I said, witches of
in
Twitter. When guys were going out for protests, the witches had done for
Even
us
tarot
prayers.
cards.
Bruh.
Nini, ancestors,
This in
guiding.
Kenya,
I
that's how you
said,
know it's real, bro.
kila mtu aungane, bring your speciality.
And is a baby said
Bring
she's
your
spoken to
speciality.
Wangari Maathai. Okay, we accepted all of them. Some of them are diabolical,
Bring your
but
speciality.
A win
Bring
is a win.
anything
a win is a win.
I mean, it's
your
a-
contribution
My
right
guy.
now. Kwanza tulisema kama wewe ni mrogi.
Roga.
Overactivate.
Overactivate. In fact, to be honest, you're wasting time. time.
Please.
Because also, like, some other failures. Sorry. Anon, low-key, you guys ain't shit. Where were Anon? I thought these guys had given us
I was so
threats.
excited when
But
they
I
gave
hear
the...
that was a fake page, no?
No.
It was the real page.
It was the real
It's
page.
one of
Yeah,
their
but
pages.
it's not the main page.
Yeah, it's not the
They have
main
their
one.
main page. The one that has been posting
It's not.
is not the main
It's not the
page.
guys who do
Bro, I
the
was so
real
excited.
bees.
It
was
felt
so
like a
excited,
movie, like
even
the
me.
beginning of a movie, a vigilante movie.
Yeah.
Or maybe if you just had a patch shot at Safaricom, who could just leak some of these conversations? Because I'm sure these guys speak on phone on a lot of things.
Of course.
That if they became public light, it would be storing in.
Yeah, but and maybe so. And because we need, I think in my view where we are is all strategies are okay. Use everything, we see what works.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because we are in learning and you have to allow, it's like I see when kids are learning, like a kid doesn't know that a cup is for putting something to drink.
True.
So then when they take the cup, it's whatever they want it to be. So the cup can be a drum, the cup can be their phone, the cup can be anything.
Yeah.
And that kind of childlike wonder is the thing that we must have in building this new Kenya, right? It can be anything. When people are like, oh, but we can't have a parallel system. How will it work? Yeah, that's the question. How will it work? Let us crowdsource ideas.
Yes.
You, what do you think? You, what do you think? You, what do you know? And that's how you end up building an idea in the image and likeness of the people who are building it and not the people who have hijacked the thing, right? Yeah. This is your first time to participate in building Kenya. Allow yourself the space to try, to think.
To error.
To error.
And there's systems to learn from. Professor Wandia sent me a link of this town in Mexico that hosts 20,000 people. They got fed up of the political situation in the country and they kicked out all politicians.
Yes.
All of them.
Keep talking.
Like, imagine if Mandamano happened the day we are occupying parliament or whatever, and we all said we're going to occupy all the politicians' homes and offices and we want to kick them out.
Yeah.
Like you have literally a day to leave.
They literally have to leave Kenya.
Yeah, they have to leave. So they kick them out. Then they just form their own community. So that community has 12 representatives who are voted by everyone. And then they're voting ni ile mlolongo, transparent. So anyone who wants any position that represents everyone else in the community,
I love it.
You make your case, then unasimama, everyone who supports you anasimama nyuma yako. It's clear and clean. Like unaona tu line yako. Where by 7 a.m.
Just join the other queue.
Literally. And I forgot, and you look at, they go through the community speaking to people. Like the police in that society work for the people. They are loved. Like kids are running after the police cars just to say hi because they feel safe when they see the police. Yeah. The guys who represent them are speaking to the people, which is what I'll double down on some of the things you said, language and maybe institutions. So if Muthoni sent me to say to represent blankets in Burundi tomorrow, I'd have to get a clear brief of exactly what she would need me to say in Burundi.
Yeah.
So now, when we're saying we have to call them representatives and not mheshimiwa, you can't represent me if you don't listen to me. Because how are you representing me?
What are you representing?
And that reminded me, I got this cartoon. It's Ruto speaking to someone. Then the caption reads, they don't want me to travel, but they keep saying Ruto must go. Go where? Like, first value is very laughable, but also it really speaks on the disconnect between the language you speak and the land and what they're here.
Yeah.
Because it feels like they're not hearing what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know, and I know they're hearing what you're saying.
100%.
Absolutely.
They just don't want to implement it.
And then also, the other thing I want to say, that's something I've been telling myself. Yeah. Okay. To all the ops who are watching and listening, you know, Tafadhali. What I want to say is that this is the time of radical free thinking. Yeah. Everybody has to think for themselves, right? So I had to really think about this because the other piece, I don't know if you guys have been catch doing this. Are you navigating your fear? Are you finding that you're afraid?
Yeah. I am.
Yeah. I found that I'm afraid. A lot of even things I didn't know that I was afraid of. I'm like, hey, the first day I saw the hashtag, I was like,
are we really doing this?
I said, what do we mean, guys? Scared? Why? What do we say? Then I was like, Ebo, relax, madam. Just sit with yourself. Don't go to Twitter. What do you think that this means to yourself? And I'm like, oh yeah. There could be the practical living of it. He can leave at any time because he can resign. Actually, literally, even without us telling him, the president can wake up and be like,
say, guys,
actually, I've changed my mind. I want to leave. He can.
Nice. Then we'll tell him where to go.
Didn't his
Sugoi.
Then we'll tell him where to go.
Put the go in Sugoi.
You can do it. I think.
Didn't Musalia say before the finance bill was dropped that dropping the finance bill is a vote of no confidence?
That is it. That is
so
it.
now it's been dropped. So what are you saying?
Indeed.
Then?
In fact, we have to unpack that because there is a master key for Kenyans. Just pin your next.
The biggest gem.
That's the next topic. That's a gem. We were given a master key. That was a Freudian slip. You know, the guy told us in a dialogue.
Like literally, alitupea leakage. Like fanyeni venye mutadu basi.
Exactly, right? I'm like, it's giving D right now. Because who told us digital one cousin like, then I went like, was this guy actually sparring us on? In such confusion. Anyway, Guy, now what are we even talking about before that?
No. I'm finding fear as all this was.
Fear. Yes. So I was like, what does this thing mean? It means that he could literally go. It also means that in 2027, when we get to go to the polls, we can kick him out. Oh, so this is just campaigning. So this is a campaign. The way like they had what was their Hustler Dynasty one? Because I mean those guys were campaigning
bottom up, Dynasty versus
theirs was bottom up. I think that was their
campaign. Bottom up.
But bottom up didn't start in year 4. Bottom up began like in year 1 or year 2 of the
previous regime.
Right? So they campaigned with it and then they rolled over Hustler Dynasty. That's the thing that came in like year 1 of term 2.
Yes.
Right? So those guys campaigned for a cool 4 years. Yeah. So even us, we're campaigning. They just share, you're spreading an idea.
They're silent right now.
So to me, I was like, okay, as a planner, what could be outcomes? Let's say the president actually woke up and is like, yeah, actually, I recognize and I'm out of here. I've resigned, right? So we have time. So what would be the time between his resignation and when we do an election? Oh, so 90 days. So let's say today. So we'd have 90 days. So what do we need between now and these 90 days?
Okay, Mtata posters.
Right? So I'm like, okay, we need lots of things between now and those 90 days. Oh, okay, so we need an IBC that's working. Oh, actually, he's given us a promise. Oh, actually, 29th of July or something, there's a ruling around some commissioners that's coming. Okay, so we have to, so we have to stay on the selection committee.
Got you.
On the selection committee. So okay, so by the end of July, we should know where we are with the selection committee because then if you're saying he's leaving, you would need an IBC to run our recall of MPs and also a presidential election. Okay, cool. So then the thing stopped being like, oh my God, what does it mean? It just means as citizens, you need to be prepared for success. Prepare for success. At any rate, whether you do it in 90 days, midterm, we are sure there's a hard stop, which is 2027. Constitutional guarantee. In 2027, we must go back to the polls, right? So that's the worst case scenario for us because us guys are like, right now, ishe. And that's the best case scenario for politicians because then they buy time. Either way, we have a convergence point at 2027. So I was like, okay. So the question is, what do we need to do between now and our worst case scenario, 2027, or our best case scenario, 90 days from now? Either way, citizens have to do some action.
Yeah. I'd go with the worst case scenario because that's what's going to happen. 2027. So then...
Nah, you don't know. Are you a prophet? Are you a prophet?
He's the Lord.
I'm the Lord.
Are you the prophet?
I'm the Lord.
Are you a prophet?
I'm the Lord.
Was there not did I not see a propaganda? Another guy who was like, he took a newspaper, then he said, those my prophets who've been prophesying against. What are you talking about? People have been praying Psalms 109, verse 2 to...
And you replace every word with...
Exactly, replace. And even I saw somebody saying, stop petitioning. Say thank you. Thank you because it has come to be. I said the witches of Twitter, the rosary groups of Twitter, get together. Who has told you?
So, because you see, our biggest challenge is that we have a constitution that actually works and a constitution that has a lot of the things you're fighting for. The main problem is that no one implements it. And these guys are used to they get away with not implementing the constitution. Actually, what we're saying now is we're simply asking Ruto. We're not even saying many things. We're just saying implement the constitution.
Indeed.
So implementing the constitution means we do away with this, like the Musalia seat, because that is illegal. We look at parliament. Is the gender rule observed? No. Then we have an illegal parliament. These are small things. Now, who makes these laws? It's the guys who have in parliament, right? So then what do we need to do? then those are the guys we have to start by recalling.
100%.
Because the problem is, if we don't recall those people, regardless of what we do, legally, we're not able to make some of those changes.
Indeed. True. What I fully agree with you, and you're right. I'm also saying, don't narrow it down because we are in state building. Keep all options open. Because we're in a state of imagination. You have to imagine a world in which literally your president says, I've heard you.
I'm done.
We have a legitimacy problem. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
He can. We can't even force him to stay if he's like, I'm out. For example, it's just but an example.
It's
Dear
possible.
Ops, I am not planning anything. I am saying, for example, Yani, we are imagining. We are scenario building.
Hypothetically.
So if that is a potential outcome, and it can happen, right? Yeah. If that's a potential outcome, what does that mean in terms of timeline? So it means that your success could be as easy as 90 days away or as far as 2027.
Yeah.
So we must occupy this time. What are the actions that we can do in the occupation of this time? So I agree with you. We should all, for example, not all, but a chunk of us should coalesce around the issue of IEBC.
Facts.
Sawa.
Yes.
Because we need an IEBC that's functioning for us even to be able to do empirical.
Yeah.
The other thing we can coalesce around, all of us, is this civic education piece. See, these guys are coming back from recess next week. When are they coming back? 22nd or 26th? One of those days, So they have bills in front of them. So the same way we did reject finance bill, we are just in the same mood called reject. And I should have begun by saying, that's the only mood in Kenya right now. Reject. Is your partner giving you bullshit? Reject. Is your employer giving you bullshit? Reject. Is your government giving you bullshit? Reject. Guys, the mood is reject. Because reject, the other side of reject is allow. Allow a new system to be birthed. A new system requires imagination, it requires labor, it requires time, it requires resources. So as you're allowing, you're also rejecting. Yeah. Are we together?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So if we are saying that we have to be multi-pronged, you have to build success. So civic education, because the civic education is forcing us to be activists. Yeah. By doing this activism work is when, or this active citizen work is when we're learning what we require. I don't imagine that it is anybody's joy point to be waking up every day to be like, what are these bills saying? But now we are learning like, if you read the bills, you'll catch things. If you catch things, you can agitate, you can build consensus, you can cause your representatives to see life the way you see it, and those negative bills can fall. Yeah. So we might not be able to fix everything that has happened already, but you can stop the things that are about coming.
Facts.
Right? Yeah. That's something that you can do as you're occupying, right? Or we've learned that kumbe LSK, honestly, me, do you know that's what LSK can do? I never knew. Did you know? I did not know. I did not know.
I never knew because in our existence, we've never had a chair of LSK who's been
active.
Bro, we had Nelson Harvey, bro.
Chai,
bro.
Mandazi.
Apple Harvey, bro.
This can happen. And it's what you're saying. The power that we have is in us being together and in the numbers we have. The only reason why Parliament was occupied is because
numbers and
all of us decided we're occupying. You remember, Mdoni, we met at City Market that day.
Bro.
Then you're like, hey, bro, Sileo ni occupy Parliament.
Exactly.
Tunaenda mbele. And we marched, and everyone marched, because that was the collective decision.
Yeah.
So now the lawyers who are part of this movement, then they can interpret the law in an easier way that allows me, so that I don't have to go read through that jargon that I don't understand. Simplify it for me. Now the guys in the alternative media space like us, then our role is to have this conversation, civic education.
So first,
over.
So first, I don't think this is alternative media space. To be honest, you are the new media. You must understand that you've been building.
You are made. Relax.
What can I say? Gosh.
You are made.
Hey, Kenyans, we are too hard on ourselves. We don't even see the things that we are doing. We have already built an alternative mechanism to acquire and disseminate information. That is the primary work of media.
That's true.
Dissemination of ideas and knowledge. Bro, you just sit on TikTok. How many things do you see a day? You're just like, Ati, this is in Indonesia. Then now you're in
Nigeria next is
Guinea Pau.
Wapi. Yeah.
You're like, bro, I didn't even know there's a country called this. And now this is what you guys do. I didn't know that there's a chick who can make toothpaste from scratch. You've just informed me. Okay, I'm like, I'm going to check that chick out. We're going to need that shit for the zombie apocalypse, bro. You're going to need to know how to make some toothpaste.
Alipikambaka sweetie, toffee.
Jamani.
Today my kids want to have
Makes
toffee.
deodorant.
Highly resourceful.
Yeah.
So we're also learning that we can be highly resourceful, right?
Yeah.
So we are already building the new systems. And we must not be trapped in just kind of like the narrowness of the things that can be done. We have to understand we have to do all things at the same time. Now that we're at media, for example, I really want to see, are the media really going to go on the street next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Time will tell.
Wednesday or
They said after 7
Wednesday.
days. Yeah.
In fact, now, I read that thing and I read it and I was like, it is a threat to. I was like, so are you threatening to do it, or are you saying you're
going
doing
to
it?
do it, exactly.
But you see, the problem, my biggest problem with mainstream media is a couple of things. One, mainstream media genuinely is owned by the police.
Is literally
They own
owned.
it.
Literally.
They control it.
Literally.
Secondly,
Literally.
today, no, is it today or yesterday?
CAK boss?
They've banned that media from.
No.
Not
They
banned.
didn't ban. They warned. Wamewa warned.
Or the
How is it
coverage.
banned? Because
Legally.
you cannot do it.
Yeah.
You
So they've
understand?
warned them.
It's like the thing today that the guys of Kiambu Road woke up and do it for us. Tumeona, mnaweza sumbuliwa musiende.
Wait,
Yeah, then
what are you
Katiba
referring to?
Institute
DCI.
went to see, they wrote for us, hey, you can't do maandamano in Nairobi and environment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then Katiba Institute went to court on an urgent matter.
Yeah.
And the thing was
It
like,
was
sorry,
revoked.
it's revoked. It's illegal.
Yeah, you can't
You
do
cannot
that. It's
infringe on a
literally
constitutional
Article 7.
provision.
Don't
You
do
understand?
that.
So they can't say you can't cover protests.
But this is the same system that doesn't obey court orders. This is the same
Indeed.
system that the
Indeed.
court says you
Indeed.
can't tear gas.
And they
Indeed.
still
Guys
go
were
ahead.
peaceful,
Indeed.
And
And
they
they
do
do
it.
it and they still
Indeed.
shoot you.
With all the
Indeed.
impunity.
It's the same system, where that the president literally says,
Says,
you know
fuck
what?
that, I'll do what
Fuck
I
that,
want to
I'll
do.
Yeah.
I believe this is what's right for the country and I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's infringing on all, because I feel like it's just ping pong for all of us. Like we were discussing earlier, for every win that we've had out of all this, there's just been some nonsense that has come along. Like the president was the first to tell politicians not to go for Harambes and show opulence, and then went for Harambe himself
In a chat.
and
Yeah.
donated. The president was dissolved the cabinet, then appointed someone whose position is
Unconstitutional.
to
To be in
represent
charge of
all of them.
all cabinets.
Yeah. He
positions.
made the IG for police step down because I'm sure like he didn't resign on his
He
own
was coerced
volition.
and stuff.
In fact, the statement was, I have accepted.
I have accepted
your
to resign.
resignation.
Yeah.
I really wondered if
Then the
that guy knew he had
deputy,
resigned.
yeah.
No.
I
You
was
really
told that
you
I
are thinking about
I didn't even bother to read it. I didn't
Guys,
even
what's
bother
in
to
your
read it.
office?
Seven and a home.
Cold.
But it's even, like, genuinely speaking, because we covered this in one of the episodes where I'm like, everything Ruto is saying, he's doing. So he was the commander in chief when unarmed people got shot and killed. And then he was asked on camera, what if the police will be held accountable for that? He said,
Independence. Police
No,
independence.
independence. And then the next phrase, we
Yeah.
are working together.
yeah. But he said the
Which is
independence,
which?
right? Sawa. So a few weeks later, now whoever was in charge of police has resigned.
Yeah.
Him is like, I had nothing to do with it. It's independent.
Yeah.
Now he comes and says, the reason why police had to open fire is because criminals
Infiltrated the protest.
right? And then he insisted that there's actual criminals. So then what happens? So he can use the police to combat the criminals. So everything he's saying, he's thinking about it. Now he's saying that we don't want you to protest because we have info that criminals are taking advantage of the protests, right? But we don't want you to protest. Then, of course, ask the question is then, if you have info, why don't you just deal with the criminals and let us
One time,
protest?
yeah.
Or in the streets when vandalism is happening, why are the police not doing anything? But they're busy chasing people with placards.
Peaceful protesters.
So he's doubling down on the things he's saying, and he's like, I don't think, and I guess
Let me tell you what I think.
he's very intentional.
Let me tell you what I think. It's the thing I was saying when we're off camera. There is a crisis of imagination. And a lot of this stems from the way we are educated and socialized in Kenya. Iko shida kwa education.
Kubwa.
Sawa? Iko shida. Iko shida wazazi. Wakenya wenzangu, my fellow Kenyans, iko shida.
Thank
you. Sawa. And what I mean by there's a crisis, and that is why, as an artist, that is my job. My job is to spark imagination. I don't have no answers. I am nobody's leader. My job is to spark imagination and to help us come to a conclusion that, in fact, guys, there are several ways we can skin a cat. Now, the president's playbook is force, combat. Old playbook.
And fear.
Old playbook. Siasa mzee, sio as I was saying, sio siasa digital. Siasa mzee, siasa in a bow.
But
okay?
Nini yake ilikuwa wheelbarrow.
Cheque. Cheque bro. Cheque. Cheque. Ni sawa.
It's such an old system.
Right?
The thinking is very old.
Thank you. Now you are talking. That is a bar. Bars. Sawa Kendrick. That exactly is it. That the way you imagine a young person is a wheelbarrow. Right?
Imagine.
So a person who's seeing you at wheelbarrow can't even hear you talking about blockchain technology. Actually, elections can be on blockchain.
How?
You understand?
Yeah.
Because already even when you explain to him blockchain, that thing sounds like some very futuristic bullshit of young people.
Unapindua serikali.
No, it can't even reach unapindua serikali. The thing is so childish and futuristic and impractical. Who would be on a blockchain, on an internet? You understand?
Yeah.
The thing is so far removed. Thank you. You've helped me to understand him. A wheelbarrow was such a boring, basic, shady, zamani idea, right? Because now,
how effective is a wheelbarrow?
Indeed, how much
can you get?
Now we'll be told, hey, you guys are middle class, you guys are up bottom, KFC
and
guys,
iPhones.
Uber guys. Because then the question for me was like, people want to go to protest. He can also have just been the one to be like, I have heard that young people want to protest. I'm the first one to say you have a right to picket and protest. I have instructed police commissioner, Barabara, let us build a route map in every city. Protesters come in 9 to 4. There is police security. Absolutely protest, make your voice heard. What could have stopped him? Guys wanna come to State House, pikeni chai.
Grounds inakomodetwa saa ngapi?
Alafu pia wasanii mnakuja kuimba because kuna wageni wanakuja kuona State House. So pia tumefanya concert ya wasanii.
Hiyo watu wangekuwa like,
Cheque, that's my point.
Mtaingia mfungiwe.
No. Cheque. Na wase wakuje. We are doing an imagination exercise. Ops, we are doing an imagination exercise. We are not saying that's what's going to happen. You understand? Relax. But what we are saying is, watu wanaweza kuja State House na wakunywe chai na rais asimame hapo, waeke microphone, kuna moderator Hussein, kila mtu 5 minutes, sema ile kitu unatema, president aandike notes na aseme you are right, nimesikia hii mambo yote, sawa. Then even 2 days later aseme bro, nimesikia hii mambo yote, kuna vitu tunaweza toa immediately, na kuna ingine nina need usaidizi wenu because we are going to have to shake dynasties to get that thing to happen. Why did anybody have to die? Ungecheza tu kama wewe, would have still been mad. We still hate you, we still want you gone, but nobody needed to die, and we don't have to be in this like
fighting all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
So that tells me the lack of imagination. When bloggers come out, they can't speak of something substantive, so they have to assassinate character. They have to try and be like, Mariah is alifanya, alilipwa, fake WhatsApp groups, fake voice notes, right? Manufacturing consent with like fake polls. You can't even think about how do you co-opt this thing, because actually the president could have easily co-opted, rejected, and been like, actually, together, reject corruption. Sacrifice some guys, some heads roll. Because as we have said, one way or another, we are going to get to 2027. So we can get there peacefully. And then he can actually be like, this is politics. This is politics. Young Kenyans are finding their space in the political space, and they are saying this. Even me, I said it about another president. So we are allowed to have opinions. Kila mtu aongee bora kazi inafanyisha.
And you didn't even have to get...
It's wild to me that they don't even have dope politics. So these your gods, you Kenyans who like politics. Your politicians are boring. They have no romantic politics that can engage you and be like, hey, angalau leo tumesikia ka something. You understand?
Yeah.
So they are shady. They are boring. They are not with us.
Na kila mtu akona dimples.
Na buju.
I went on to another. Oh my God. That chick. Ooh, Gloria, Glow. Oh,
we shall revisit.
Glow, we are revisit you in real time.
Honestly.
Because this moment we are in is entirely avoidable if people just have some dope politics. This is why I was saying when we're on break, guys, every weekend there's a protest in France. Even in this week, even in this Paris Olympics is happening. Yeah. There are guys on opening day who are like, we don't want this thing.
And
French
they're very
guys
creative.
are mad.
They said they'll shit in the river.
Bro, yeah. French guys are mad about everything. French people are just mad. Those guys are the pro in protest. They are like, bro, we don't like it. We don't want it. We're going to fight. It's never collapsed the government.
Yeah.
So the idea that it has to collapse government tells me that even the people who are around him have no new ideas. For all the traveling they do not collect any insights. They don't see how things happen in other places and be like, let's co-opt. Somebody in this government should have told the president or himself, he should have told himself, things changed during pandemic. For 2 years, we sat at home. We watched Americans protesting against police brutality. We watched people in Hong Kong protesting. Like, people know things. Like, the tools have changed, how people are organized, how people talk.
Yeah.
So even people who are running intelligence, you are bullshitting your leader by using tools of 1994, and right now we are in 2049. Like, literally people are on blockchain.
True.
I caught a space on X where guys are talking about, what could elections look like on blockchain. In 2020, I did a lot of work researching, being like, actually, how can the music industry run on blockchain? Because that was we were trying to understand how can you adopt blockchain, right? So like smart contracts, making sure that, hey, Chaxy is going to get his part of, he was the producer, I'm the singer, everybody's going to get their part of the bag. Or how do we adopt this technology? We've already been, in 2020, the music industry was talking about adoption of smart contracts. That's where people are. Adoption of different alternative currencies. That's what smart, like cryptocurrency is. That's the world where we are going to. And anybody right now who is in leadership has to understand the difficulty of leadership is you are holding trust for a future that you cannot even understand. Yeah. It's not your future. You remember when, if the Bible, take that story of Moses, that guy did everything. That guy went to a pharaoh. His rod turned to a snake. That guy literally, like the seas parted. Manna fell from heaven. That guy saw unprecedented times, unknown unknowns, navigating them, right? And then God was like, that promised land, you will not get there. Because your part, the way I've always understood that story is your part was this. You were meant to get guys till here. That new future, that new world, you don't have the tools, the language, the skills for that new world. So they need somebody who can speak to the moment of that future. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. So already when I looked at the president's advisors, I'm like, nobody there has an imagination of that new world. Yeah. Nobody understands, for example, like that a chunk of Gen Zs and Gen Alphas are going to be internet fast. Right? When Akina Snoop Dogg are buying like land in metaverses, that is going to be the actual lived reality of these young people in Bomet. But you can't imagine that somebody in like Kilgoris is going to be on the metaverse. Yeah. You have no imagination of that world because to you it sounds so... far-fetched. Now it's a metaverse. Yeah. So because you think you can't understand and it sounds so far-fetched, you forget that the people who are building the metaverse are those 20-year-olds. Yeah. They don't care about you going to school to get a job, to get money. Bro, I'm a gamer.
Yeah. I'm a streamer.
I make money. I'm a podcaster. I'm a content creator. I'm already in the money game. And actually, I get paid in crypto. So actually, your Kenya shillings is very, 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 very subordinate to the future money. And the future is longer than the place we are coming from. True. It's wild to me. And that's why I'm cautioning us in this moment to not be bound by the way we've been seeing things. Because even us, we are entering into a new world of unknown unknowns.
Possibilities.
So we have to allow ourselves to think in unknown unknowns.
Yeah.
Like for real, money is not going to be money the way we think about it in just a short while. Atufiki hata 2040, right? We are all tapped into an international economy. Value is going to be different. And even if you wanted to say that, they wanna exaggerate, bro, BRICS is already saying we're not going to use the dollar moving forward.
Yeah.
And we can decide if you want.
That's what I'm saying. You can just choose and then just move in the direction of your choosing. At any rate, Musalia Mudavadi, our one cabinet secretary of all cabinet secretaries, our illegal cabinet secretary, our unconstitutional cabinet secretary,
Who's now in charge of...
he already gave us the playbook. He already said, if this thing fails, it will constitute as a vote of no confidence.
Yep.
If there's a vote of no confidence, they are not legitimate. So whereas they may be legal, you are legally in office. The president and his people were elected legally into office. You have lost the people's legitimacy.
Yeah.
So if they're not legitimate, why are you negotiating with illegitimate people? Just do what you want. Just make your parallel medical system. Just do it. See them fixing MOH. Because if you fix your own thing and now they're irrelevant, there's nothing a politician hates more than irrelevance. In that way, they are here with artists. We hate to be irrelevant, bro.
Yeah.
We need to be relevant to earn bread.
Yeah.
Politicians have to be relevant to earn bread. And this is a big imagination exercise I am asking us to allow ourselves to do. Last point of my monologue, guys.
No, I love it.
The MPs, that's the fault line. That's the fault line. That's the crack. You know that thing? What is it? Tectonic plates.
Yeah.
You have to find a fault line. Then it leans, the thing cracks. That's the one. Why? Number one, MPs can be bought. Actually, I read a quote. Politicians have no opinions, they have owners.
True.
Have I lied?
True.
That's true.
True.
That's true.
Cool. Are we aligned?
You're
We are
aligned.
together.
Yeah.
These people, see, it was Sonko who was telling us, was it Sonko? Or in the previous parliament, the guys were being given 10 Gs in the toilet, where they also used to go and smoke weed in the toilet. Those were Sonko tales, right? Sonko tales, whatever. So one of those guys, right, was telling us about them. So we know for a fact that these guys can be flipped.
Yeah.
And we saw them flipping.
Yeah.
We flipped them. When they told us, I have to follow my party, then they came home, guys salimiad them. When they were dogs, they were like, oh shit.
Bye.
Then some of them were like, hey, okay, I've changed my mind. Or even when they were saying yes, ilikuwa na unyonge.
Na uchungu.
Yes. Did you see the handsets?
Some of the reports were written inaudible.
And inaudible. That's the
By
handset.
the way.
So that's the fault line to lean in. Next bill, reject. Next bill, reject. Stay steady. These are the guys who can impeach the president. They're the ones with the power to impeach.
Definitely.
It's them. So if we are saying we want him gone and we can't wait till 2027, just use the MPs.
True.
Just use the MPs. That's a thing that I can imagine. Will it be done? 10. Stay tuned for another episode of Kenya. You understand? I don't know. I don't know how the story ends.
Yeah.
I don't need to know how the story ends. I just need to be able to imagine that, oh yeah. And I don't even need to do it negatively. When their numbers came out, right?
Numbers?
Their phone numbers, emails. Yeah. Remember when guys were like, a lot of us, again, okay, let me speak, me as me. I was like, can you really, this feels like, is this legal?
Wanted to say it.
No, me, I was like, is this legal? Me, that was my, guys, good girls, just legalities. I was like, is this legal? Can you just do?
Yeah,
Then it surfaces like, actually, there are
numbers are
representatives.
public.
Their numbers should be public.
Office.
Their number should be
Very
public. to begin with,
public.
Because
I said, inject that knowledge. I didn't know that thing. Therefore, we can just continue writing them intros, paragraphs, finding names. Hey,
Voice notes.
I am off. Everybody,
I'm just
flag
a general
them. Flag them. Flag them.
I'm a matter.
Flag them. Thoughts, ideas, insults, suggestions. Just tell them they're your representative. You are the employer. You are the one telling the employee what to do for you. Those motherfuckers will crack. They will crack. one way or another, they will crack. Either they will crack from our side or they will crack from the side that is controlling them.
Yeah.
Someone there between the pressures, when the pressures pressure, you understand, the thing has to crack. And that's the game plan. So we can just stay steady. Yeah. That's also something we can do.
True.
Of course.
Whether we are taking it for 90 days till 2027, that's a thing. That's within our legal confine. There's no coup that you are doing there. You are just doing your role as an active citizen.
As Mheshimiwa.
As Mheshimiwa, with your power that you have delegated to that person, you can cause a fault line. And doing this work, there's so many things we won't know. As you're doing it is when you discover what you're meant to be doing, how it can be done. Forgive yourself what you didn't know. In fact, there's nothing to forgive. How could you know? Unknown unknowns. True. Now you know. Now when you know, do differently. Yeah. These are things that we can do. And this is ways to interpret this moment. That the reason we got here is because we ran out of choices. And who got us to run out of choices? Establishment.
The institutions and the people.
They're the ones, right? That's why you're a medical doctor, but you're applying for a job. To be a housey in Saudi Arabia.
That broke my heart.
Right? Yeah. It's the system that reduced the choices. So we can't keep playing the game of the system. This is what I meant when I was like, the whole system has to go. You have to reprogram your brain individually in your house. Self-radicalize with the truth of the moment, which is all sovereign power belongs to the people. Shall. Mandatory. May. Optional. And really understand what that means and occupy that power within yourself. Then move. All these things are working together for good. All these things are working for good. If you build a public health system that is working on the side, then they go and fix the actual public health system. Now everything is just working so aligned. Either way, we win. But we can't keep asking the system to solve. Why? It does not share our incentives.
And the system doesn't listen to us.
Anyway.
I mean, even...
Why would it? Yeah. Chaxy, bro. You are a thief.
Okay, not...
Now, me, okay, not you. Okay, for example, we are just saying...
Hypothetically, let's use Mwass.
Okay, tunasema, Mwass, me, mwizi sugu.
I know I've stolen the heart. I know.
Proceed with caution.
Hapo kwa sugu, unajua sugu ukiongeza inakuwa sugoi. Mimi naona kuna mwizi sugu, mwizi sugoi.
Mnyambulika wa kitenzi, mnyambulika wa vitenzi ndio hiyo. Sugu become sugoi.
Mwizi sugu, mwizi sugoi.
Mwizi sugu.
Ndio nilimwambia yake the go in sugoi. Nilimwambia the go in sugoi. You must go in sugoi.
Oh my God, I'm dead.
Permission to return mwizi huko.
Right? When ni mwizi, watu wanakuambia ufanye kazi, you're like, bro, niko kazi.
Yeah, literally.
Niko
mboka.
Unataka nifanye kazi ingine. Bro, you ingine, not my business. I'm sorry. Try somebody else. You understand? Yeah. So we also have to stop doing that, like imploring to their feelings, that you are also a father, thinking that they share the same value system, the same thinking system, the same incentives. They don't. They really don't. Na ukishafanya hivyo utapona. Na unasai wase wa baba wako na marasmus. I'm like, kunywa kaluma utapona.
Nisugue.
Woi, pole. Mtapona.
Yeah, mimi nilishapona.
Yeah, politicians ni wale. They are the ones. So they're not us. They're not for us. Those are the ops. We must get them out of our imagination. True. Then now as we sit with ourselves, because there's lots of things, right? I really loved how Okiya Mtata was saying, yeah, we're a democracy, but the systems are, what did he call them? They are... basically, they're majoritarian. Parliament is majoritarian. Yes. Right? So for something to pass, we have to vote. Numbers, so whoever has the numbers carries the day. Good or bad, whoever has the numbers passes the day. Yeah. So you have to have the numbers. So yes, we should be clamoring for IDs. First, an IBC that works parallel with IDs, so we can become registered voters, so that we can put Mwass to go become our representative. If we have 99 Mwasses, they're not enough, but The other side now we balance the number so that the other side has 78, us we have 83. Okay, we are moving now. We are moving somewhere. It is not to say that they cannot be compromised because that's what's happened in this case, right? The executive bought or compromised the house, right? But we are now cleverer. We now know. Oh, you can be compromised. Oh, now you know. Go knowing. If you don't do what we want. Month 3, bro, is good enough. Unaweza toka. I think it's like 2 years. I think after you have to serve for 2 years, then you see what I mean? We didn't know that. We have to exercise. Sifuna, your pal, told us that they're going to nominate 2 guys. ODM is going to nominate 2 guys for them to be recalled. Sifuna, we are waiting for you to fulfill your promise. You're an op, but even as an op, you can still do something that can benefit us.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
So just understanding that us and the ops, we may sometimes stand on the same line of the picket fence because even the ops have layers of
opness.
There's opness.
I'm just saying, an op to our op.
Yes, an op to an op.
Can help,
right?
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. It's the same thing. Like we are over here fighting for a better society and we're on the same side with misogynists. Yeah. I don't share their views, bro.
True, but
as women, we were in matching. We are on the same side. So also this thing has to be done South Soul style. Together, apart together. Apart together. Apart together.
Yeah.
That thing. We are on the same side of the picket fence, but we are not the same. Yeah. I'm a blue skittle, you are a red skittle. Honestly, we are not the same skittles. We are not the same skittles. We can be in the same packet, but we are not the same. And to have that as a consciousness and to acquire that as a consciousness in building this new thing, that you moving forward, you Mwass, if you're entering this thing like to blow money on bitches and like to buy houses in Dubai. Sorry, can't do it.
Like Mwass.
No, honestly.
I swear.
So I don't know. Those are some of my reflections about where we are and the moves that we are doing. But you guys be encouraged. Be encouraged. Man, the Kenyans, we're so hard on ourselves. I think the only times we celebrate is like when somebody breaks a world record. We're like, oh, Manyala.
In a public holiday.
Hey.
A Friday and a Monday.
Hey, happiness.
Those are the only days when we are really happy. I'm like, bro, we've done so much. We've done so much. It's like, hey, they have been fired. Where is the Gazette? The Gazette is put. Where's the stamp on the Gazette? When is the thing going up on law review? Bro, we are doing things. Yes. You can't just act like it's nothing. And also now, if for a minute you hold politics world, it's not nothing that a cabinet has been dissolved. It's not nothing.
Yeah,
true. It's not nothing. So that's very good. Be stressed.
For the vetting now.
And also, remember, you are the ones who said that if this thing fails, you have lost legitimacy. At the same time, when you killed us, you lost legitimacy.
All over again.
So you may be legally in office, but you have lost legitimacy. It's your business to figure out how you're going to earn the legitimacy. It's not my work to tell you how to earn the legitimacy. True. It is by your actions that you're going to earn the legitimacy. You understand that? True. That's critical. So that also when fish are swimming, don't clap. Fish are meant to swim. True. Yes. What else are you meant to be doing? You're the ones to earn the legitimacy. It's not us to be sitting here telling you, hey, this is what you need to do. Dialogue. We need to talk. What are we talking about?
And all these talks governments always have and all these committees, there's never been progress.
Nothing.
So in asking you to just implement a constitution that is already available, why do you need to dialogue about that?
And 150 people's G50 will be youth.
Accountability. You want to start what's it called again? Setting up a committee.
Yeah. And also this is the thing that I had said to you, holding on to reality. There's a really big need to hold on to reality. Guys, let me tell you now globally, take a minute, expand the lens. Don't be in Kenya for a minute. We are in a post-truth world. We're in Singapore.
The Netherlands.
Okay.
We're in post-truth.
Yes.
How many times do you read something on the internet and you're like, is this real?
All the time.
Yeah. My first thought when I saw Trump was shot, I was like, which movie is this? Nothing made me think that could be real. Yeah. Nothing. So whether he was actually shot, it was a setup, whether he cooked it, the point is where we live right now in the world, when you look at something, you're like,
questionable.
Yeah.
So we're already living in a post-truth world. It therefore requires a lot of us to hold on to the reality of things. This morning, when we all got gaslit by that letter from the police talking about, hey, you can't, whatever, keeping with international standards.
Yeah.
In fact, they said that in keeping with international standards of. I said, get out of here, man. I said international, not the international. So in keeping with international standards, they, are leaders doing The people who held on to reality were the ones who went immediately and said, but what does Article 37 say?
It's very clear.
You're going to need to hold on to reality. Because there's so much distortion of reality, right? That's going to happen when people are like, oh yeah, but if he steps down, he can give the military. There is no such provision. He cannot do such a
propaganda.
thing. Please, propaganda. Please, I beg. You must hold on to reality, and it's going to be so important. And if you don't believe me, just look, guys, how has Israel-Palestine played itself out? It is Palestinians who've had to hold on to a sense of reality to tell you, because if we were relying on what Israel was saying, do you know, as of today, there's not a single school that has been left standing today. There's not a single school in Gaza. There's not a single functioning hospital in Gaza. So they have to hold on to the reality because the storyteller is not saying that part. It is the Palestinians who are saying this. You're going to need to hold on to a sense of reality. We are in a post-truth world. This is also why I'm like, guys, this thing where we've been saying it's leaderless, it must continue to be leaderless. You must lead yourself. Yeah. You're just there following a misogynist, just telling you things. Misogynists will be compromised at the earliest moment. On God, and they've already shown themselves. Yeah. On God. Anybody who's normally there, women, men, how men should be, women. Bro, that's a person who's going to definitely be flipped for money or for something.
In a heartbeat. Yeah.
So there's need to hold on to reality. There's need to stay grounded in the reality. So when we are saying we are building a system, that is literally the reality. When I'm saying Hanifa is a new NHIF, I'm not asking her to continue in that role. I am saying she has shown us what the thing is meant to be. Hold on to that reality, because that's how you will be able to demand it out of NHIF. Yeah. At a future time when the Gava comes and is like, if these guys build a parallel system, tough. So let's just fix this system. Maybe we can still find ways to steal 1.1% of it.
And hers was very simple and very transparent and very accountable.
It continues to be. Yeah.
All the figures
continues
down
to
to
be.
the last cent.
Yeah. I think the very last point, you have to move in success. You have to speak in success. Hey, Kenyans, man, damn. We talk so down on ourselves. You are winning. Guys, what are people saying? Ruto must go. He's going. Whether he'll go in 90 days by his own volition of a resignation, whether parliament impeaches him, or whether we get to 2027 and then guys decide by legal means we are voting him out, the guy is going because the public sentiment is not for the leader. That's no big deal. It's happened world over. That's literally democracy. That's literally the practice of democracy. And even the next guy or girl who comes into the sport, next guy or them who comes into the sport, if they don't do what people want, even them, they'll go home.
On to the next one,
You understand?
Yeah, no one says.
You don't have to get to 10. You don't have to do a double term. It's not a must.
It's not written anywhere.
It's not written anywhere. That's why you come back after 5 years to seek a fresh mandate. Yeah. Then guys are like, you did good, proceed. Or you didn't do good, out of here. So you're already winning because we are in alignment that this thing, this cronyism, this nepotism, this corruption, this outright theft, this arrogance, this is gone. There may be some people who succeed to come into another 5-year term, but by and large, this system is gone because we've said it's gone. So now we have to move in power for now the system is gone. So what does the new system look like? It looks like accountability. It looks like citizen first. Yeah. It looks like justice. In fact, there's no need to preach peace. Just do justice. True. Peace is a natural outcome of a just society. Judiciary, we're going to need you to step up. And they are. Of course, there are very, 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 very rotten fucking apples within the judiciary system. And I don't just mean judges. I mean,
all the way down.
Prosecutors. The prosecutor who wrote for people yesterday.
Mugging.
Drunk and disorderly.
Like, what was that?
You understand? That's a public servant who did that. He could have also just written, there is no charge.
True. I mean, everyone else was released on no charge because there was actually no charge.
That's what I'm saying. So he could have also just been like, no charge. That's a choice he made. You get that? Yeah. So the judiciary system, there's lots of negative things, but also there's lots of judges who've pulled up. Yeah. The judge who declared the housing levy illegal, the Mariah in 2020 who said the president for the...
He's all rest in peace now, right?
Yeah,
He died.
Yes, he passed away, right?
Okay. SHIF,
you know, that's the judge who was moved to Malindi. Yeah. So there's some people. So amplify those things that are good. Keep your eye on the positive praise. We spend so much time looking at the things that have already passed and not enough time on the things that are birthing. Do you get that? Yeah. Any woman who's been in labor knows that moment when it's like you're in the shadow of the valley of death. It's like you feel like the thing is dying, but in fact, it's a new thing that is being born. And your eye has to be on the thing that is being born, right? Mm-hmm. That's how the baby comes from that side to this side, by you paying attention to the end game, which is the baby to come out. So we have to birth this new Kenya, and we have to keep our eye on the prize on this new Kenya that we are building. I can't wait for artists to be like, actually, enough of this MCSK Garcia.
I've been seeing those floating around, but what's the plan?
I think we are still building critical mass around the idea. Okay. People are still, I think, acquiring their awareness. Pia tunakuanga na mafactions, tunakuanga tumechukiana, wengine wanabo, wengine yani venye tu Kenya inakuanga pia ndio wasanii wanakuanga.
You just need Calligraph can deal with all those guys. That's the energy.
No, but also big enough. But the thing is a bit
niggas with tumors in their hand.
Yeah, but the thing is also systemic. The thing is systemic. I've been of the opinion for a long time that actually we should just withdraw the music and we should just run a campaign. All that is we just write to Sony, actually withdraw all music. Withdraw music from radio. Those motherfuckers don't pay us.
Yeah.
They don't pay us. Cool. Now moving forward, we only want people who have digital tracking systems. We're using blockchain. Yeah, you can play the music as long as you're on this chain so that we can know what is the tally of how many times you paid. Then the money came and then the money was actually distributed directly.
True.
There's no middleman collecting anything.
Yeah.
The money was just distributed. Those were the things we were already talking about in 2020. But ideas also take time. So allowing for ideas to take time. And that's the thing, we are too quick with it. It's like, oh, now we went and then now nothing happened. Now we are so dejected and we are so disappointed. No. The fact that you turned up something already happened. Yeah. The fact today that there was like police on police in Uhuru Park feeling cold and you were in your house.
Surrounding areas of Uhuru Park.
Even Denis Street was almost impassable.
Yeah, Denis Street is impassable.
We tried to access State House Road and they just turned us back.
Yeah.
Literally, they were like, you can't use this road.
That was today.
They said unless you live here, you can't use this road.
Where you're going.
Yeah. I'm like, how
do you prove residency?
After some days, they know the cars that are passing there. Yeah. And also, like, are you going to be arguing with the cop at a police, at a check, on State House Road? Really. You have to really be insane
what
to
if I
be
just
doing that,
go to
you know?
Rodi?
No, so you say. So if you say you're going to, like, if you say where you're going, right, they'll let you pass. But if you just look over there,
you're
like,
just using the road.
You're I just want to go to whatever, they'll be like, there's other ways to go there. Yeah. But if you're going for something on, along Denis Street, along State House Road,
how scared can you be? Like, State House is already very secured. So to block roads is insane.
This is what I am saying. They are telling us, you have to read their actions. They are telling us they're afraid. Why are you afraid?
And very lonely.
The reason why they're afraid is because whatever we are doing is working. And to your point, Mariah, we're just chatting. It's too soon to despair. We're doing the most. Mm-hmm. Despair, disappointment, woe is me, oh, it's not working. Hey. Relax. It's working. It's literally working. And it's only going to get better. We are too quick to talk shit at ourselves. We're too quick to decide that this thing is not working. I was just giving you guys the example. So today I read TSC saying, austerity, they didn't get the 10 million or billion. I don't even know. M and B, same. A lot. They didn't get the money that they needed. So posting of teachers, I'm like, okay, cool. But in pandemic, we learned that you can learn at home. You can learn on a computer. You don't have to go to this institution. The teachers are trained. So actually communities can just get together and be like, okay, in this our village, we are going to hire these 3 teachers and pay them directly. We already have the tools. We just need to continue building upon what we already have. Me, I don't know the last time I watched news. I just need to watch you guys, what's going on here. Who's pod. The systems of the alternative life that desired Kenya, we already have the tools to make it work. And we really have to stop rounding this whole thing. It's like, oh, guys didn't turn up for Maandamano yesterday, so now the whole thing has failed. Maandamano is only one piece of your toolkit. It's only one version of your toolkit.
The physical resistance is one
Thank you.
Thing.
It's only one thing, which is why I was saying earlier, it's like when you look at the way the Panther is structured, for example, physical resistance was only one ideal. The other ideal was kids are hungry. Figure out a food system. People need access to hospitals. It is the Panthers who actually made public health a political issue because they were able to provide an alternative public health system. And then the system was like, hey, let's co-opt this thing because that's what the system always does. That's what, please. Nobody knew what was happening on TikTok and etc. until some people were like, na ni kama hawa watu wana make pesa, so let's come and bring some taxes. Let's come and do some regulatory, right? You had already built a system. You have built a system of being able to communicate value and you're already earning from it. And then it's when the system is now coming to try and doya or dandia or crash your system. We have to give ourselves credit. We have to be willing to do this work long term. There is no easy fix, but you can have moments, adrenaline moments. That's what I was asking. There are no governors who are pro-people. See, there's some opposition governors. My understanding is Anyang' Nyong'o, for example, would be an opposition governor. Yeah, Kisumu should have the biggest memorial concert by the weekend. Katambe, 2 days memorial concert. It should be there.
That's true.
Artists wajipange, mfanye concert. Hold that space for yourself, that civic space to express yourself, to sing, to picket inside the concert. That's your concert. It's a memorial concert. Are they passing around your memorial concert to kill you inside a memorial concert? I thought that's what they said. I thought these people who are pro-us. So even these ops on our side, red Skittles, there's still something that you can lend to this moment. It's self-preserving, but it can help us. It's too limited to imagine that our success is only going to come from being in the streets. And I heard Okia Mtata saying that, that the street is the ultimate theater. That's where the thing ultimately gets done. And, I love Mkia to death. And I was like, I truly, truly understand and respect and agree with that. But I'm also like, we can interpret what the street means right now. Twitter streets are streets. What are we talking about? WhatsApp streets are streets.
Online
streets. The streets are streets. We will eventually come back on the street. Mobilization drives everywhere where there is a pro-people governor or senator. We should see you going to work, telling people, come out and say your things. We should see it because there are no goons. Who are the goons? Because if we are to accept this theory of goons are owned by politicians. The political class are the ones who own goons to use as and how they want, right? So we want to see red Skittles doing more. Sifuna, are you being for real? We should see things in your where you are the senator of where? There where you are, we should be seeing your things happening. We should be seeing things happening because you're pro-us, right? And I think we must have more imagination. This idea of always like the only way we win is if we go to clash. Then we're like, no, but it's our right. It is. In fact, it is your right to picket, But that language, in fact, that's the discussion I was having this morning. That's an old narrative. Because that narrative has already been hijacked by somebody who has more power.
But also remember the clashing.
Physical power.
The clashing is just our last resort because we spoke to this guy.
100%.
We texted this guy.
Actually, we're not even clashing. It's them clashing.
With us, exactly.
There's no clash. My apologies. There's no clash. There's no clash. There's no clash. There's no
They
clash.
refused to listen.
Indeed.
Then we said, okay, then we have to come on the streets.
Escalate.
Just to show that exactly.
Escalate. It's been a series of escalation.
It's just been escalation.
I agree, right?
And now, clearly, we just know that they don't listen. So
No, they don't.
we
No,
just have to keep.
They listen. They just don't want to listen.
They just they just will do whatever they
Exactly.
do, right? But I'm also like, red Skittles. You people who are meant to be pro people, open up your spaces. Because also, must it be in Nairobi? Must the demonstration be in Nairobi?
Or start in Nairobi for the rest of the
country to peak.
Must it be? Anyway, we've seen it's everywhere, right? 26 counties, I think, was the Tuesday demonstration. The ones before, like 30-something counties. So other counties where there's pro-people politicians, those things can continue. We just have to have a big and wide toolkit, and we have to allow ourselves imagination, and we have to allow ourselves to learn. I was saying this to you. So many people have been doing this organizing work, my guys. So many people. Guys, we did a nationwide end femicide march.
Peaceful.
Nobody died.
No issue. Nobody
was tear gas.
No one looted.
The police let guys picket.
Yes.
It was peaceful.
Also, it was on a Saturday. So you can also change the tactic. You can picket on a Saturday. Yeah, it's nice. Tuesday and Thursday, it's disruptive. Yeah, but also if your point is to picket, we can also picket on Saturday. I'm not saying that that's what we should do. I'm just saying add that to your imagination toolkit. How have other people who have done things and been successful done them?
That's true.
What can you learn from other people who have been doing this work? You're not the first person to do it. I'm not the first person to come into my consciousness as a Kenyan.
True.
I'm not going to be the last to do it. So the need to think about that, to reframe, the options and the timelines and the actions that we can take, and to work in our success. We are succeeding. We are building a new nation, and we are succeeding. Whether it looks apparent to you or not, doesn't matter. You just propaganda yourself because actually that is the truth. And move in power. Don't allow despair to fill your heart. If the one for the streets is giving you despair, leave that one for a minute, do something else. Go to another streets. If you hear in Makueni, they're okay. Go to Makueni if you must be on the street. There are other ways. We just have to allow ourselves to also be flexible. Be flexible, be flexible. You're building something new. Be flexible in your approach. That's for me and for everybody. That's my word.
Wow.
Well put together. Wow. Very well said.
Thanks.
Yeah, very well said.
Thanks.
I think the key thing for me as we conclude is just the idea of being open.
Yeah.
Because this sudden push for what's the solution, what's the way forward, feels like, it's just limiting your imagination.
Yeah.
Because you feel like now you're under pressure
to come up with that.
Now, even when you don't have
you're not ready.
Indeed.
So allow me to keep imagining until I get to a point that is very comfortable with me, where I can say, so this is my solution.
I don't know right now, and I'm thinking about it. And it's okay, be comfortable with the discomfort. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But this is my value system, and I trust my value system to get me to the answer. Yep. For sure. 100% with you. Hey, let's drink to you. Hey, you, Mariah, how you feeling?
That's it.
About the angry bit, I think that's the part that has caught me. About, like Kenyans were very quick to, when something doesn't work immediately, we resort to anger, despair. I think right now, I'd say most Kenyans are angry at themselves because it's like we've been so numb for so long. Now it feels like it's a knee-jerk reaction, but it's not really a knee-jerk reaction. And it's also stemming from a point of, when you see something like 10 years, you're thinking, fuck, like I've let 10 years of something that would have been changed then just pass me like that. Yeah. And it's like now everybody's like, it needs to be fixed now. We can't let another month go and it's, they're stealing, they're doing that, this. So yeah, I think that bit is where like we need to give ourselves grace.
Yeah.
And also the fact that you've said truly we can't despair because in as much as things are not happening in a timely manner, they're happening. And that's a win.
Yeah.
So I think for me that's my biggest takeaway. Because me niko na rondogo.
Yeah,
mini wale wa, okay, sawa. See, the cabinet has been dissolved. Where's the bloody Gazette? Like, if I don't see it, I'm thinking, oh God, I'm to cheza.
Ni wale manze sele mko talking stage ukituma text within 12 minutes kama hujajibu. Imeisha, nimekublock, nimepata
I'm not even trying to hear you.
Ma distract.
Ashaanza kuandika.
Oh my.
I don't even need you.
Yeah.
Relax.
I think I really needed that because even after the protest, what happened on Thursday, I've just been like, listen, let's just do what we need to do. Keep an eye, but
allow yourself to keep dreaming. Stay in the game. Stay in the game. Stay in the game. It's your game. Stay in the game.
Yeah.
It's your game. Stay in the game. Yeah. More power to you. Mwasugu.
Hivyo tu hao wawili wamesema. I think
unaanguka na hizo mbili.
For me, my key takeaway is it's just the general perspective of looking at it from his perspectives. Imagination has come out as a very strong point from your end. I think for us as young people and active citizens, the realization that we are living in like the most monumental part of the history of this country, which looking back even years from now, we'd realize that these parts that we lived and actively participated in shaped a lot of things that we're going to enjoy in our future or maybe live for the next generation. And I get that comes with a lot of, a cocktail of feelings. It's scary because, you're doing something for the first time. It's you get delusional because you get the adrenaline when you're in the streets to do and go crazy. It's promising because it gives you hope. Like me, for example, I didn't have a lot of hope in this country until all this that has been happening in the last 4 weeks kind of just gave me that hope that, things are possible, things can change. And it's also like a reaffirming for my patriotism. I hate the government. I love this country. That's probably never going to change. But then these perspectives are showing me that we can create a government that we can actually love and live in a country where it works for us here. So there's no reason to look outside. I think it's just that, and looking at it from that point of imagination, we know where we want to be headed. We know where we're going. We've not figured out the route or how long the journey is going to take. We don't know how many of us are going to make it there, but just pump the gas.
Hey.
Yeah.
Check me mwesikia Mwass venye ameongea bro.
Love it, man.
Hey boo.
Love it.
Hey. That's what's up.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you so much for holding this space. Thank you everybody behind the crew.
Yeah.
Thank you for holding this space. We're going to need much more.
For sure. And we'll be here. PSCC, we won't despair. We'll be here.
Yeah, no despair.
We'll be here. And we'll bring in all those opinions. Because we know we have a smart audience.
Yeah.
And we have, and we'll play our part.
Yeah.
But thank you for always being available. We celebrate
Shout out to you,
man.
Shout out to you.
We love you.
And checkmates, commentini hizo majina zote ngumu mmesikia leo.
Tafadhali na mnunue merchandise. Nauza merchandise shati nimevaa. Asanteni nauza merchandise.
Wow.
Actually ninakuanga msanii saile nchi yangu na kutengeneza sanaa ya wasanii wengine. Pia ninakuanga msanii. Muingie hapo kwa DM tuchukue merchandise moja moja. Asanteni sana.
Na tutoke blanket on.
Please.
Bash. Hiyo by the way, msikuje na maandamano, mkuje tu kibash.
Na mchukue Monday off.
Kibash, mkuje tu mfeel good, mhagwase, mreconnect, tuimbe, tulie, to have moment of silence. But tuko tu bash. Watu wafurahi.
Hakuna viva hata moja, hizi viva tu moja.
Tunaweza bash wase.
Midnight lazima tuimbe.
Tulisema.
Ile ngoma ya Sanel.
Anyway, thank you so much, Muthoni. I appreciate you, man. Karibu tena. Whenever you feel you have something you need to say, even outside Mandamano, this is always available.
That's what it
We record
is.
every week.
Asante.
Thank you so much.
Asanteni.
Episode 189, Muthoni. 181.
181.
181. Hey, 189.
Episode 181, Muthoni Drummer Queen. We are
Over 26.
This is
This is the Brunch Club.
Over 26.
Welcome back.
The mics are closed.
Now, when you watch it, you'll understand.